Chapter 699. No matter how he looked at it, this godly beast did not have any hostility. Qin Wushuang calmed down and asked, Senior Godly Beast, since Senior Golden Cicada was an elite warrior of the Totem Clan, why did he die in a foreign land? That godly beast sighed. There's no need to say more about the secrets of the Totem Clans. It's nothing more than the entanglement between the Totem Warriors. Since you can inherit the graceful spiritual bow, it means that you're a person with great fortune. You're also my great lucky star, haha. Qin Wushuang's heart was moved, and he could not help but ask, Great fortune? Great lucky star? Senior Godly Beast, what do you mean? That godly beast laughed. It's very simple. That day when I was confined here by Golden Cicada, he once said that the day he came to this island would be the day I would be released. Who knew that once he came, he would not? Luckily, he also added, if he didn't come, the one who got the graceful spiritual bow would be his successor. When I see this person, I can regain my freedom. This, Qin Wushuang felt that it was somewhat inconceivable. Haha, don't you find it hard to understand? That divine beast chuckled and said, Have you noticed that your graceful spiritual bow is not equipped with the original arrows? If you had used the original shooting sun arrows to shoot me, although this godly beast is not afraid, it would not be so easy to deal with, haha. Qin Wushuang sighed. I heard that the original shooting sun arrows have been lost. Lost? That godly beast laughed. I only remember that Golden Cicada took away 9 shooting sun arrows. But there are a total of 18 shooting sun arrows. Oh, Qin Wushuang's eyes brightened. Do you want to know where the other 9 shooting sun arrows are? Could it be that Senior Godly Beast knows? Qin Wushuang was moved. What do you mean by could it be that I know? That godly beast appeared to be very proud and said with a smile, Follow me. At this moment, Qin Wushuang's heart was in a perilous situation. Could it be that his luck had exploded today and he was able to obtain the original graceful spiritual bow? Following behind that godly beast, he entered the underground cave of the godly beast. This cave was secluded and winding. Along the way, it was a deep and damp path. After walking for a while, it suddenly became clear. It was a building that looked like an ancient palace. 9 fiery red arrows lay quietly on the walls of the building, giving off a very ancient aura. When Qin Wushuang saw the 9 arrows, his breathing quickened. His entire divine sense seemed to have produced an unprecedented resonance. Shooting sun arrow. Qin Wushuang realized that the graceful spiritual bow in his hand suddenly emitted a powerful resonating sound. The bowstring hummed sorrowfully, as if it was venting out the unyielding feeling that had been suppressed for a long time. This was a kind of reunion after a long separation, a kind of encounter that was destined by fate. Moved, Qin Wushuang walked to the nearby wall. Just when he was about to touch it, one of the tentacles of the divine beast immediately swept over and stopped Qin Wushuang's movements. Don't touch. Qin Wushuang looked at the mythological beast in surprise, a trace of doubt in his eyes. The divine beast shook its head and said, You can't touch the shooting sun arrows yet. Can't touch it? Why? Qin Wushuang could not understand. It's simple. Your strength is not enough to use them. The mythological beast gave a long sigh. If you activate this defense forcefully, most likely you will suffer a backlash. Not enough strength. Qin Wushuang was dumbstruck as he asked stutteringly, Could it be I must enter the supreme Tao stage to take out the shooting sun arrows? The mythological beast laughed. No need. You are only at the perfect void martial stage. When you enter the exquisite mysterious boundary stage, you can take away the shooting sun arrows. Exquisite mysterious boundary stage. Qin Wushuang's eyes lit up. If it was the exquisite mysterious boundary stage, then he would have the assurance. After spending more than half a year at the Illusion Heavenly Lake and the other islands, Qin Wushuang had also comprehended a lot about the path of training. Especially on the path to the exquisite mysterious boundary stage, he had already swept away all the obstacles in his cognition. With a suitable environment, he could break through in one go. Ha ha! It's only one step away. The mythological beast said with a light smile. What? You don't have the confidence? Qin Wushuang laughed. For the exquisite, mysterious boundary stage, I only need half a month. I'm only worried that if I don't go out, would they be suspicious? Suspicious of what? Although this island is being monitored by them. But they can't monitor my underground cavern at all. Therefore, you don't need to worry. At most, they would think you went to explore the supreme Dao fruit. Then a moment ago, when you led me in, could it be they didn't see it? Qin Wushuang found it somewhat inconceivable. Monitor me? The mythological beast said proudly. They can monitor the entire island, but in my territory, how could I allow them to run amok? All right, little guy from the Heavenly Emperor Qin clan, I still haven't asked you, what is your name? The mythological beast asked with a smile. I am Qin Wushuang. Qin Wushuang? Good name. The mythological beast praised from the bottom of his heart. All right, I will give you half a month. In this cave, the training environment is a few times better than the outside world. It should not be a problem, right? Qin Wushuang said, no problem. The mythological beast laughed and disappeared from the cave like the wind. He sent his voice, I will be in charge of protecting you. Ha ha, for freedom, I will reluctantly protect you this time. Qin Wushuang was overwhelmed with emotions. The appearance of this mythological beast had given him too much shock. Qin Wushuang found it hard to believe that encountering a mythological beast would lead to such a great fortuitous opportunity. He worked hard to restrain his emotions and control them. Qin Wushuang sat down cross-legged and decided to officially charge for the exquisite, mysterious boundary stage. Ling Tianji and Jiang Kuei had been knocked out one after another. They were sent out of the island by the transportation formation and returned to the shore of the illusion heavenly lake. Now, the ordeal competition had come to an end. However, what made everyone confused was that since Ling Tianji and Jiang Kuei had come out, why did that little guy from the Qin clan not come out after winning the championship? In the first 1 or 2 days, everyone felt it was nothing. However, after 5 or 6 days, when Qin Wushuang was still not showing his figure, some people could not refrain from whispering. What do you think that Qin Wushuang is keeping us in suspense? Why is he not coming out? Could it be he is addicted to staying inside? Haha. Could it be he was swallowed by the mythological beast? Someone guessed without evil intentions. It's hard to say. Mythological beast. That's a mythological beast. It should be easy to swallow a martial artist that is not at the Supreme Dao stage, right? It was apparent that many people hoped something would happen to Qin Wushuang. This was the deep-rooted bad habit of humans. They could not bear to see others doing well. Inwardly, they would always feel unbalanced if they let Qin Wushuang win the championship. Therefore, they hoped something would happen to him to satisfy their despicable mentality. Especially the Xian clan, Heavenly Punishing Villa, and Sound of Thunder sect. Initially, when they saw Ling Tianji and Jiang Kuei getting out and Qin Wushuang locking the championship, they felt deep despair. They had already planned to leave early and not watch the award ceremony. Unexpectedly, after a few days had passed, Qin Wushuang still had not come out. This made them become active inwardly. Vividly, they were looking forward to whether or not this Qin Wushuang had truly died inside. It was inappropriate for them to ask these questions, yet they were looking forward to it inwardly. Initially, they planned to leave, yet they stayed to wait for the result. According to the rules, before the time limit was up, they could not announce the end of the ordeal competition. Even the organizer was not allowed to enter the island to observe. Everyone only had one choice, and that was to wait for the time limit to arrive. For the Qin clan, besides Qin Yunran, who was rather calm, Qin Hao and Qin Hongyan were more or less unable to keep their cool. They whispered almost every day, "Why is he not back yet?" "Second Chief, why don't we apply to the organizer? Let's go take a look." Anyways, junior brother Wushuang has already locked the first place. Yes, Second Chief, if Wushuang is trapped by the mythological beast, it would be terrible. Qin Yunran shook his head and appeared extremely calm. He said lightly, "Wait." After 10 days for the Qin clan, Even Qin Taichung could not sit still. For people of the other powerhouses, most of them were certain that something must have happened to Qin Wushuang, or else there would be no reason for him to not come out. Of course, some people felt that Qin Wushuang would certainly come out at the last moment. Perhaps Qin Wushuang is hiding in some corner and doesn't know that Jiang Kuei and Ling Tianji have already been disqualified, right? Under such circumstances, of course he would stay until the last time limit. Or else, how would he know he would win? That's right, but is he not worried that Jiang Kuei and Ling Tianji would seize the supreme Dao fruit first? It's not that easy to seize the supreme Dao fruit before the mythological beast. Who would dare to pull a tooth from the tiger's mouth? Inside the island, the communication Jade Plate was forbidden to be used. Therefore, for the Qin clan, it was impossible to contact Qin Wushuang through the communication Jade Plate. Naturally, they would not know the exact situation on the island. After half a month, the 5 totem elite warriors all felt this matter was somewhat strange. How come that Qin Wushuang still did not make the slightest movement? On this day, the leader of the Heavenly Mountain sect of the extreme North Snow Zone, Ling Sheng, brought Ling Tianji and arrived before the 5 totem elite warriors. This Ling Sheng was Ling Tianji's father and the ruler of the Heavenly Mountain sect. However, before the totem powerhouses, he would not dare to act too presumptuous. After he bowed respectfully, that Ling Sheng asked, 5 totem elite warriors, little Tianji and Jiangke, were sent out at the same time. I wonder how the order will be determined? That Chief Snow Cicada said lightly. Isn't this ordeal not over yet? The ranking will be announced at that time. Ling Sheng laughed awkwardly. Chief Snow Cicada, I have something, but I don't know if I should say it. Speak. Ling Sheng gathered his courage and said, I want to know, if that Qin Wushuang is already dead, how will the champion be determined? Will it be empty, or will it be chosen between my son Ling Tianji and Jiang Kuei? Ling Sheng, if you have something to say it all in one breath. Of the totem powerhouses of the extreme North Snow Zone, the cold elite warrior of the dark mysterious clan said lightly. Ling Sheng only held respect to the elite warriors of the other totem powerhouses. However, before his superior, the dark mysterious clan, he would not dare to play petty tricks. He said, before my son Ling Tianji was sent out, he seemed to have caught a glimpse of that Qin Wushuang fighting with the divine beast. It seems that the transportation Jade Plate was already destroyed by that divine beast. What? The 5 totem elite warriors were stupefied at the same time. The transportation Jade Plate was destroyed? Wouldn't that mean he could not come out? To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please log on to www.chidian.com. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 700. The 5 totem elites looked at each other. They all felt that this situation seemed to have exceeded their original expectations. The totem elite of the mysterious underworld race touched his nose and said to Sect Master Snow Cicada, Sect Master Snow Cicada, this is the Karakoram Immortal Clan. What do you think we should do? If Qin Wushuang is really dead, will the champion have to be determined again? Or should we just leave this position empty? Empty? Sect Master Snow Cicada shook her head. The position cannot be empty. If it is empty, who will get the 2 supreme Dao fruits? Our 5 totem forces have all given out 1 supreme Dao fruit. It is unfair to give it to anyone else. We can only reward these participants. At most, the rankings will be pushed back. The original 2nd place will be the champion, and so on. The 6th place will enter the 5th place, and the 11th place will be pushed to the 10th place. The 5th place is an unexpected surprise. Rising from the 5th place to the 4th place is equivalent to obtaining a supreme Dao fruit for no reason. It is definitely an unexpected surprise. Who was the original 5th place? Is it Lu Qin of the Flying Rainbow Dojo? Sect Master Snow Cicada said, Lu Qin originally had the strength to enter the top 4, but, she was unlucky. Life is unpredictable. Qin Wushuang displayed his invincible might in the beginning and eliminated Zhu Yunyan and Lu Qinchuan consecutively. Who would have thought that in the last round, he would lack this blessing? Xinyuan Ba, the Xinyuan clan, had been silent all this while. At this moment, he suddenly opened his eyes. There was a strange light in his tiger-like eyes, and he said in a deep voice, "Everyone, we are only making this assumption. We are not sure if Qin Wushuang is really dead. Isn't it a little too early to discuss the distribution of the rewards?" Sigh, Brother Ba, we know that you are feeling uncomfortable. However, if the transportation jade tablet is not protected properly and is broken by the divine beast, then he can only wait until the time limit is up and the restriction on the island is lifted before he can come out. In 2 months, can Qin Wushuang survive being stared at by the divine beast? Xinyuan Ba ignored these sarcastic remarks. Instead, he stared at Ling Tianji and said indifferently, "Why didn't you say so earlier? Why did you only say so now?" Ling Tianji, under the pressure of the totem elite warrior, suddenly felt a huge pressure on his whole body, and his breathing became rapid. The totem powerhouse from mysterious underworld race said faintly, "Brother Ba, pay attention to your status." Xinyuan Ba turned his head and stared at the mysterious underworld powerhouse. "I only asked him one question." Ling Tianji said timidly, I was flustered at that time and didn't see it clearly. That was why he didn't dare to spout nonsense." After waiting for so many days, seeing that Qin Wushuang still hadn't come out, he thought carefully and realized that something might have happened. "So I told my father, and then—" "What a good excuse." Xinyuan Ba sneered in his heart. "What panic? It was all bullshit. Most likely, he hoped that Qin Wushuang would be killed by the mythological beast. That was his real motive. After all, if he said this as soon as he came out, maybe the totem elite warriors would intervene. In that case, if Qin Wushuang didn't die, it would be hard to say who would be the champion." Ling Sheng said intentionally or unintentionally, "That Jiang Kuei came out with my son. He should have seen it." Chief Snow Cicada exchanged a glance with a few totem elite warriors and said, "Brother Ao, you are in charge of the One-Horned Dragon clan. You are in charge of summoning them." In fact, the Brother Ao she spoke of was the elite warrior of the Forefather Dragon clan of the Endless Eastern Sea. The Forefather Dragon clan had the surname Ao. Only the Forefather Dragon clan was qualified to have the surname Ao. The surname Ao was also the unique surname of the totem clan of the Endless Eastern Sea. That totem elite warrior with the surname Ao performed his divine skill and made a sound transmission talisman. In a moment, the leader of the One-Horned Dragon clan walked over with Jiang Kuei. "Jiang Kuei, Ling Tianji said that when you came out, you saw Qin Wushuang's transportation jade plate being destroyed. Is that true?" That elite warrior with the surname Ao asked. Jiang Kuei said with a mumbling voice, "I was somewhat nervous and didn't see it clearly. I only saw Qin Wushuang entangled with that mythological beast. However, he seemed to be struggling and had no room to resist. Since Ling Tianji said he saw it, then it should be the case. My field of vision was not good, and I did not see it clearly." This Jiang Kuei was even more cunning than Ling Tianji. He simply evaded all responsibility. Since Ling Tianji already spoke the truth, it would not make a difference for me to add another sentence. "Ling Tianji, you could be the evil person," Ling Tianji said with displeasure. "Jiang Kuei, at that time you were in a better position than me. You should have seen it." Jiang Kuei's expression sank. The power of that divine beast was too powerful. I almost could not open my eyes. How could I have seen it clearly? He flatly denied it, again flatly denied it. Xinyuan Ba said with a cold sneer, "Are the current young generation of the Tianxian land this irresponsible? It seems that the Tianxian land is showing a trend of getting worse with each generation." Chief Shuet Chan gave a long sigh. "Brother Ba, don't be so sarcastic. That Qin Wushuang is from the Xianyuan mound. You tell us what to do." Xianyuan Ba said with an indifferent tone, "Does what I say count? Speak, speak." At this moment, the other 4 totem elite warriors were also happy to do a favor at little cost. "Since Qin Wushuang is dead, they will yield to you and make you have nothing to say." Xianyuan Ba nodded. "In this case, Let's wait for the time limit. If Qin Wushuang has not come out, then I will go in and take a look. Wait, Brother Ba, let's talk first. If he is not dead and you go in to take a look, how will the championship be counted if you take him out? Of course, Qin Wushuang will still be the champion. He held on longer than these two. It's true, right? Xian Yuan Ba did not yield an inch. That elite warrior of the dark mysterious clan shook his head. No, it's true that he held on longer. However, if he cannot come out himself, what's the use of holding on longer? The totem elite warrior surnamed Ao of the Endless Eastern Sea also helped him. That's right. Unless he comes out himself, how can we give him the championship? Is everyone not convinced? Ling Tianji and Jiang Kuei belong to the extreme North Snow Zone and the Endless Eastern Sea, respectively. Therefore, naturally, the totem elite warriors of the Dark Mysterious Clan and the Forefather Dragon Clan were more attentive. After all, if Qin Wushuang could not win the championship, most likely the championship would fall into the hands of the powerhouses under their rule. At this critical juncture, everyone was selfish. Xian Yuan Ba was annoyed as he looked at Chief Snow Cicada. Snow Cicada shook her head. Brother Ba, although I admire that Qin Wushuang, I must say that he could not even protect the transportation jade plate well. If he cannot come out himself, it will not convince the public to give him the championship. Among the 5 totem elite warriors, 3 of them had expressed their stance. Xian Yuan Ba could not say anything even if he wanted to. He said angrily, I don't care. If Qin Wushuang is alive, at least the top 3 spots must be reserved. After all, only the 3 of them entered the 10th island. Even if he gave up at that time, he would have locked the top 3 spots. I have no objection, I have no objection to giving him the 3rd place. The elite warrior of the Dark Mysterious Clan laughed. The totem elite warrior surnamed Ao also chuckled. I also have no objection to the 3rd place. As long as it did not infringe on their interests, of course they would not say anything. Xian Yuan Ba shook his head helplessly. The 5 totem powerhouses restrained each other and disagreed with each other. With such a loophole for them to exploit, it would be strange if these guys did not seize it. It was also Qin Wushuang's fault. If he could protect the transportation jade plate well, as long as he came out 1 second later than them, he would also be the champion. The champion of the ordeal would not bring any benefits to the Xian Yuan clan. However, at least, it would represent the peak of the Tian Xian land and the honor of the Xian Yuan mound. Therefore, Xian Yuan Ba did not have any feelings for the Qin clan. However, regarding this matter, he did hope that Qin Wushuang could win in the end. What they didn't know was that while they were calculating, in half a month, Qin Wushuang had already done a lot of things at the 10th island. Whoosh! When Qin Wushuang opened his eyes, the entire world seemed to have become much clearer. A feeling of being reborn made Qin Wushuang feel that the colors of the entire world seemed to have become much richer. Finally, he had crossed this threshold of the exquisite, mysterious boundary stage. Finally, he had entered the legendary, exquisite, mysterious boundary stage. From now on, the Void Martial stage would become history. Traces of warmth rippled inside Qin Wushuang's heart. Thinking back to the time since he had stepped onto the path of martial arts, each step had been so difficult, yet so fortunate. He knew that at his age, the majority of martial artists were still struggling at the spiritual martial force. Even among the secular powerhouses, those River County fellows who had participated in the martial arts student exam with him could only linger at the genuine force. They could not even enter the upper sky spiritual martial force. Qin Wushuang had entered the exquisite, mysterious boundary stage at this age. What was the exquisite, mysterious boundary stage? It was the path to the supreme Tao stage. The exquisite, mysterious boundary stage was a bridge, a path one must pass to the supreme Tao stage. Only after stepping onto this bridge, the supreme Tao stage would be worth looking forward to. If he could not even step onto this bridge, then it would be impossible for him to peak at the supreme Tao stage. Following Qin Wushuang's breakthrough, that divine beast also floated in like a gust of wind. He laughed. Young man, indeed you are on time. Haha, nice, very nice. It seems that the heavenly law does have some principles in the unseen world. Indeed, you are blessed to have acquired the graceful spiritual bow. Excellent. Qin Wushuang said leisurely, Senior Divine Beast, then can I take those shooting sun arrows now? Of course, no problem. However, you must be mentally prepared. This defense mechanism was set up by an elite warrior of the Supreme Tao stage. With your current strength, you will more or less be affected. That divine beast looked around with a smile. Tis TSK, I have lived in this place for a few thousand years. Although I'm like a prisoner, I am still somewhat reluctant to leave, ha ha ha. Qin Wushuang narrowed his eyes into a line and looked at the shooting sun arrows on the wall with a blurred vision. He started to move and grab with his palm. Waves of qi kept grabbing at the wall. Boom, 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 continuously, with 9 violent, booming sounds. Bursts of golden lights kept shooting out. Suddenly, the entire cave shone with lights in all directions. If Qin Wushuang did not have the Supreme Tao shield to protect his body, certainly he would have suffered severe injuries if he was shot by this golden light. Despite this fact, he still felt as if he was in a vast ocean and was struck by the endless waves. He was unable to control himself. Finally, this golden light slowly dimmed down. The 9 shooting sun arrows were floating in front of Qin Wushuang. They were like a wanderer returning home, full of the emotions of a wanderer returning home. The graceful spiritual bow and the shooting sun arrows were finally reunited. If you want to know the future, please go to www.chijian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 701. Ha ha, I'm free, I'm free. That divine beast was also overjoyed. Streaks of black mist were continuously released from his tentacles. That divine beast looked at this mist happily and said fiercely, Damn seal, damn forbidden spell, I've finally left my body. Ha ha, long live freedom. Qin Wushuang looked at this divine beast that seemed a little crazy and could not help but smile. It turned out that even a divine beast as strong as it also had unspeakable difficulties. This world was really wonderful. A divine beast as strong as a Supreme Tao elite warrior could not obtain freedom. A commoner who was as weak as an ant could sometimes die of old age without any illness. Creation was mysterious and wonderful. That divine beast roared crazily. Suddenly, as if it had gone mad, it spread out its tentacles and swept around madly. Rumble, rumble. Mountain rocks flew everywhere. The entire underground cave immediately trembled violently. That divine beast smiled and said, Little guy, let's go, let's go. After saying that, without giving Qin Wushuang a chance to explain, a tentacle swung over and grabbed onto Qin Wushuang's waist. Suddenly, divine light rose and they disappeared from this cave. Rumble, 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 rumble. They gradually went further and further away. Arriving at the top of the island, that divine beast was in high spirits and said with a smile, Qin Wushuang, right? Thank you. Thank you for restoring my freedom. Qin Wushuang smiled bitterly and said, Lord Divine Beast, until now, I still don't know what's going on. Lord, why are you sealed here? That divine beast was in a good mood and said with a smile, It's a long story. I've been sealed here for at least 3,000 years, right? At that time, Golden Cicada was only a transformation supreme Tao elite warrior, but he was already very powerful. He defeated me and sealed me on this island, forcing me to become the guardian divine beast of this island and serve for 10,000 years. I didn't expect that, haha, the successor of the graceful spiritual bow would come so soon. You let me serve for a few thousand years less. I have to thank you. Only now did Qin Wushuang know the cause and effect. He sighed and said, Creation is mysterious. It's really surprising. Lord Divine Beast, does that mean that you can leave the illusion Heavenly Lake freely? Of course, I'm not that stupid. If I stay here and get caught by them again, wouldn't it be terrible if they seal me again? Qin Wushuang smiled and said, I can't seal you all the time, right? The divine beast said in distress, The totem race has always been unreasonable. If you say they won't, they will. You can't reason with them. From the tone of this mythological beast, Qin Wushuang could tell that it was deeply afraid of the totem clan. He couldn't help but ask, Lord Divine Beast, how strong is the totem clan? How strong is he? That was hard to say. For your heavenly emperor, Eight Gates, who is the most elite warrior, Qin Wushuang said, the heavenly emperor of the heavenly emperor mountain is rumored to be at the 8th transformation supreme Tao stage. It is also possible for me to break through to the true supreme Tao stage. After breaking through the 9th tribulation of the 8th tribulation transformation supreme Tao stage, one is only at the 1st tribulation genuine supreme Tao stage. The totem clan's true supreme Tao stage experts, it was estimated that there were at least 4 or 5 of them. As for the transformation supreme Tao stage, there were at least 10. For the coagulate supreme Tao stage, 20 was a conservative estimate. Qin Wushuang felt dizzy and dazzled when he heard this. This many? In total, this number was more than all the supreme Tao elite warriors of the heavenly emperor 8 Gates combined. Not to mention, those supreme Tao elite warriors were at the genuine supreme Tao stage. You don't believe me? The divine beast asked with a faint smile. It's not that I don't believe you, but I find it too inconceivable. Indeed, the totem clan is powerful. I just don't know if the totem clan has any elite warriors at the heavenly supreme Tao stage. Initially, the second chief Qin Yunran said that the strongest warrior in the Tianxian land should only be at the genuine supreme Tao stage. It was because when one reached the heavenly supreme Tao stage, they could break away from all the rules and restrictions of the land and soar to the Galaxia. Heavenly supreme Tao stage? The divine beast gave a light sigh. Perhaps there are some. However, I'm not sure. I only know that in the Tianxian land plane, there might be some at the heavenly supreme Tao stage. There are people at the heavenly supreme Tao stage. Qin Wushuang was astonished. This news was truly shocking. The divine beast shook his head with confusion. I don't know. I only said that there might be some. Of course, I only heard this from Golden Cicada. Senior Golden Cicada, isn't he your enemy? Why would he tell you this? The divine beast said with a bitter smile. Who said Golden Cicada is my enemy? I cannot beat him, so it's normal for me to be sealed by him. I'm already grateful that he did not kill me or make me submit to him. In fact, before he left the Karakoram Immortal clan, he often came to talk to me. Unfortunately, I always admired him. Unfortunately. Qin Wushuang felt that his stage was still not enough. Between Supreme Tao elite warriors, they could accept defeat and victory with such calmness. Qin Wushuang, let me tell you, back then, this Golden Cicada was an extremely eye-catching young man at the Tianxian land. Even the current head chief of the Karakoram Immortal clan was not as popular as Golden Cicada. Unfortunately, this Golden Cicada did not have enough fortune and died at such an early age. Qin Wushuang fell into silence. Thinking about the style left behind by an elite warrior, it was truly fascinating. To be able to make a defeated opponent accept wholeheartedly, this was not something an ordinary person could do. All right, let's not talk nonsense. Qin Wushuang, if you don't go out, they will judge you as the loser. Since I've destroyed your teleportation Jade tablet, I'll be your mount for free. The divine beast grinned and said again, Of course, you let me regain my freedom. I owe you this favor. Remember, I am the 1,000-feeler cloud-chasing beast. The tentacles you saw are in fact my whiskers, do you know? Supreme Tao spiritual beasts can change their forms at will. Senior, this is only a gathering of the wind and clouds. I should be here. I did not come intentionally to save your freedom. There is no need to mention this favor. How can that be? I never owe anyone favors. This is called distinguishing between gratitude and grudges, understand? The 1,000-feeler cloud-chasing beast said with a smile. Qin Wushuang, pluck a hair from my forehead. Senior, isn't this a little offensive? No offense, just pluck as I ask, the 1,000-feeler cloud-chasing beast said with a smile. Qin Wushuang did as he was told and plucked a hair. Haha, keep it well. In the future, if you need my help, just refine this hair directly and transmit your consciousness to me, the thousand-feeler cloud chasing beast said with a smile. Qin Wushuang was a little stunned for a moment. Senior, keep it. Don't say you don't care about my favor. I can't beat Golden Cicada, but I can kill an ordinary Supreme Tao elite warrior with one slap. In any case, I'm also a Sixth Tribulation Transformation Supreme Tao warrior. The thousand-feeler cloud chasing beast said proudly. However, in the next 10 years, I may be in closed-door cultivation and strive for another breakthrough in strength. In these 10 years, you may not be able to contact me. Qin Wushuang said with a smile. All right, I will keep it. If I need your help in the future, we'll talk again. Yes, besides asking me to deal with the elite warriors of the Totem Clan, everything else is not a problem. The thousand-feeler cloud chasing beast was incredibly straightforward. This was the truth. Certainly, he did not have the guts to deal with the Totem Clan. Outside of the Totem Clan, indeed a divine beast at his level did not have much restraining fear. Even if he encountered a few opponents he could not defeat, he could retreat with ease. Qin Wushuang took that hair and nodded. Then I will not hold back. Senior, I also wish you great progress and strength, and enter the genuine Supreme Tao stage soon. Ha ha. If I enter the genuine Supreme Tao stage, then I can stand at the peak of the Tian Xian land. The thousand-feeler cloud chasing beast also laughed in high spirits and shouted, All right, sit tight. I will take you away. On the outside, even Qin Yunran was somewhat restless. A month had passed, and there was still no news from Qin Wushuang. He even suspected if something had happened. On this day, Qin Yunran could not refrain himself from finding the 5 totem elite warriors. When Xian Yuan Ba saw Qin Yunran, he felt somewhat sorrowful for the Qin clan. The Qin clan's position among the Heavenly Emperor 8 Gates was in imminent danger. They'd been going downhill. Finally, a young genius had appeared, yet when they were close to victory, such a thing had happened. Mr. Ba, Totem Elite Warriors, Qin Yunran is here to meet you. As he watched Qin Yunran walk over, Xian Yuan Ba asked, Yunran, what's the matter? Don't mind those rumors from the outside world. We will talk about everything when the time limit is up. Qin Yunran said, Mr. Ba, compared to the championship, I am more worried about Qin Wushuang's safety. If it's possible, the Qin clan will give up the championship and ask all Totem Elite Warriors to open the defenses of the island. Is that possible? Xian Yuan Ba shook his head. Yunran, it's useless for you to open the defenses. That divine beast is at the 6th calamity of the Transformation Supreme Tao stage. With your strength, it's not enough to subdue it. Qin Yunran was only currying favor with the Coagulate Supreme Tao stage and was one step away from the Transformation Supreme Tao stage, not to mention the 6th calamity. Only when the Totem Elite Warriors stepped out, they could say they would win for sure. Qin Yunran knelt on one knee. Please help the Qin clan, Mr. Ba. Throughout his lifetime, Qin Yunran had only knelt to the heavens, to the earth, and to the ancestors of the Qin clan. He had never knelt to the outside world. Even to the Totem clan, he had never knelt before. This time, he was performing such a grand ceremony. Xian Yuan Ba said lightly, Yunran, get up. It's against the rules to open the defenses. Regardless, we must wait until the time limit is up. Chief Snow Cicada also said, Qin Yunran, this is the rules set by the 5 totem powerhouses together. It will not be changed by anyone. Unless that Qin Wushuang comes out himself, or else, we can only wait until the time limit is up. As if struck by lightning, Qin Yunran was dumbstruck. The time limit was 2 months. By that time, it would be too late. However, before the Totem Elite Warriors, how could Qin Yunran change the rules? He left in a daze. Finally, Qin Yunran's usual straightforward personality revealed some loneliness. Naturally, Xian Tianchen had seen all of this. Xian Tianchen was rejoicing in his misfortune. He was beaming with joy and almost mocking him publicly. Lei Ming of the Sound of Thunder sect did not show mercy with his mouth as he mocked. Brother Tianchen, don't you think this is extreme joy begets sorrow? Ha ha, Before he could win the championship, he lost his little life. Xian Tianchun said with a grinning face, "It's hard to say. What if Qin Wushuang created a miracle, subdued the divine beast, and dropped down from the sky?" Qin Yunran shot a stern look at Xian Tianchun and Lei Ming. At this moment, someone from the front let out a burst of cheers and hoots. "HM, what's that?" "It's a divine beast. There seems to be a person. Isn't that Qin Wushuang?" In the midst of the uproar, deep inside the illusion heavenly lake, a figure shot over like lightning like an arrow. Qin Wushuang had truly dropped down from the sky with awe-inspiring divine power. Xian Tianchun was completely dumbstruck. He even doubted whether he had jinxed it or not. Creating a miracle, subduing the divine beast, dropping down from the sky. Everything seemed to have come true. On the back of that divine beast. Who else could it be other than Qin Wushuang? P.S. I originally planned to publish at 4 o'clock today, and it's still early. Unfortunately, after staying up late last night, the temperature suddenly dropped a dozen degrees. I seem to have caught a cold. I kept sneezing and my entire body felt soft. I decided to take some medicine and rest early. I owe everyone a chapter. I will make it up tomorrow morning. How about it? To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chijian.com. More chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 702. Xian Tianchun clenched his fists inside his sleeves and cracked his knuckles. His entire body could not refrain from trembling slightly. A form of disbelief shot out from his eyes as he wished to kill Qin Wushuang directly. The two supreme Tao elite warriors of the heavenly punishing villa and the Sound of Thunder sect were not much better. They looked at Qin Wushuang dropping from the sky with a complicated gaze. At that moment, their eyes were filled with complicated feelings. Confusion, regret, pain, pessimism, jealousy, and deep despair. He is not dead. This Qin Wushuang is too tenacious. If even the divine beast could not kill him and was subdued by him, then the strength of this Qin Wushuang is too terrifying. Xian Tianchun's heart was dripping blood. Once again, his rationality told him that he could not endure it any longer. The growth speed of this Qin Wushuang was too fast. If he was allowed to continue developing at this speed, it would be a disaster to the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. Not to mention, for this ordeal, 2 of the Qin clan had entered the top 4. Among the rewards, there were 3 supreme Dao fruits. What did 3 supreme Dao fruits mean? The answer was obvious. He exchanged a glance with Yin Guinan and Lei Ming. Each saw a trace of rich, murderous intentions from each other's eyes. Chief Snow Cicada this. When the other totem elite warriors saw this scene, they were also incredibly confused. Chief Snow Cicada also felt baffled as she shrugged her shoulders. "Don't ask me. I don't know what's going on. Brother Ba, your Xian Yuan mound truly has a monstrous figure. This 1,000-feeler cloud chasing beast is at the 6th calamity of the transformation Supreme Dao stage. He has subdued it?" Xian Yuan Ba also felt a trace of confusion as he mumbled that Qin Wushuang's strength has not reached the stage of subduing a supreme Dao spiritual beast. Chief Snow Cicada. This is a divine beast. Could it be that he is deliberately slacking off? Sect leader Xuechan shook her head and said, "That's impossible. This cloud-chasing beast was subdued by my late senior brother, Golden Cicada. There's a seal on it as a divine beast. If the seal wasn't broken, it wouldn't dare to leave the island. In that case, its restriction has been broken." The most depressed ones were Jiang Kuei and Ling Tianji. For so many days, they'd been dreaming of being the champion all the time, longing for Qin Wushuang to be killed by the divine beast and never come out again. Only then would they have the qualifications to compete for the final championship. Then, reality played a big joke on them. Let them proudly look forward to it for more than a month, and then use the cruel reality to kill their dreams. Qin Wushuang's descent from the sky crushed the hopes and dreams of countless people. On the other hand, the Qin side was filled with thunderous cheers. It was too wonderful. The ups and downs of life were nothing more than this. A quarter of an hour ago, they were still enduring the mockery and ridicule from all sides. At this moment, the arrival of Qin Wushuang was like an ironclad slap to their faces. Qin Wushuang flipped down from the back of the divine beast. Without activating the purple cloud yin-yang wings, he only made a hand gesture and glided down from the sky. Holding the supreme Tao fruit in his hand, he arrived before the 5 totem elite warriors. Qin Wushuang, fortunately, I did not disappoint you. A strange look flashed across the eyes of Chief Snow Cicada. Xian Yuanba laughed. Good, Qin Wushuang. Good job. Everyone underestimated you. The dark mysterious clan and the AO clan of the endless eastern sea all gave a cold snort, yet they were helpless. Qin Wushuang had used his true strength to kill his way out of the siege. They had no grounds to question him, even if they wanted to. Champion Qin Wushuang acquired 2 supreme Tao fruits, 1 supreme Tao armor, and 1 supreme Tao weapon. Second place, Jiang Kuei acquired 1 supreme Tao fruit and 1 supreme Tao armor. Third place, Ling Tianji acquired 1 supreme Tao fruit and 1 supreme Tao weapon. Fourth place, Qin Taichong acquired 1 supreme Tao fruit. Fifth place, Lu Qinchuan acquired 1 supreme Tao armor. Indeed, many bystanders were envious of the award ceremony, especially when it came to the award ceremony for the 4th place. The supreme Tao fruit made countless people jealous. The supreme Tao fruit was the guarantee to enter the supreme Tao stage. With 1 supreme Tao fruit in hand, it was equivalent to having more than 95% assurance to enter the supreme Tao stage. For this ordeal martial arts competition, the biggest winner was the Heavenly Emperor Qin clan. Of course, it could also be said that the Qin clan was like a dark horse that emerged at an astonishing speed and acquired 3 supreme Tao fruits. For the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates, besides the Qin clan, Yun Zhongye of the Yun clan had also acquired 7th place. Therefore, for this battle, it could be said that the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates had succeeded. After all, among the 5 forbidden spiritual zones and a dozen powerhouses, clearly it was an unprecedented success for the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates from the Xian Yuan Mound to acquire 3 spots in the top 10. However, behind this success, there were people who were endlessly disappointed. For example, the Xian clan. Being the Heavenly Emperor gate, the Xian clan should have been the most outstanding among the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates. However, none of the 2 participants had entered the top 10. To the Xian clan, this was definitely a humiliating failure. Heavenly Emperor Gate? At this moment, everyone was discussing the Qin clan and occasionally the Yun clan. For the Xian clan, they were simply ignored. Even if someone mentioned them occasionally, they used an astonished tone as if they had discovered a new continent. They suddenly realized that the leading powerhouse of the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates was the Xian clan. This way, some people could not help but doubt the position of the Xian clan. They highly doubted whether the Xian clan had an undeserved reputation and did not deserve the position of the Heavenly Emperor gate. Under everyone's doubtful gaze, Xian Tianchen left the stage in an embarrassing state. For the trip to the Illusion Heavenly Lake, the Heavenly Emperor Xian clan could be said to have lost completely. Regardless of how one looked at it, the Xian clan did not gain anything. What they did have was a humiliating record. After the award ceremony had ended, the 10,000-year immortal pilgrimage pageant had ended in a grandiose manner. The Qin clan had reaped a great harvest. The other powerhouses from the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates were all considering whether or not they should consider improving their relationship with the Qin clan. After all, the Heavenly Emperor election pageant was not far away. A dozen years had passed in the blink of an eye. Who knew whether the Xian clan would still be the winner during the next Heavenly Emperor election? Would they still be qualified to be the winner? When facing the Qin clan that had suddenly risen powerfully, not to mention the fact that the Xian clan was not mentally prepared, even the other sects felt somewhat overwhelmed. No wonder the Qin clan was an established sect. Although in the recent 1,000 years, they had given people the feeling that they were going downhill Their sudden rise this time had verified that old saying. The inheritance from the ancient times was incomparable to the new and outstanding sections. Sometimes, one's foundation could suppress everything. When the pageant had ended, each sect was preparing to return to their hometown. However, Xin Yuan Ba ordered the leaders of the Heavenly Emperor Eight Gates not to leave in a rush and to wait for him at the guest house. Clearly, Xin Yuan Ba wanted to hold a meeting. For the Qin clan, each of them were overjoyed. This time, to the Qin clan, it was definitely a rewarding return. No victory could compare to the happiness before their eyes. When Qin Yunran received Xin Yuan Ba's order, he said to the juniors of the Qin clan, "Wait for me here. I will go and see what orders Mr. Ba has." Inside the guest house, Qin Wushuang talked about his encounter on the island with a group of senior brothers. When he talked about it, everyone was surging with emotions and were endlessly excited. Qin Taichung chuckled and said, "Wushuang, why else would I say you have great fortune? You even encountered such a small probability thing. Haha, you don't know how marvelous everyone's expression was when you arrived while riding on the divine beast. Especially Xan Tianxin and the others. They even had the heart to die. Haha." Qin Hao also said with smiles of exultation, "Isn't that right?" Those bastards were waiting to laugh at the Qin clan. Fortunately, Wushuang, you appeared at the right time. Haha, you slapped their faces loudly enough. By the way, senior brother, junior brother Wushuang, what does that supreme Tao fruit look like? Show it to us. Qin Hao was the first to lose his cool. Yes, we haven't seen it at a close distance, senior brother. Don't look at how Qin Taichung was usually cheerful. At this moment, he held a firm stance as he shook his head. Junior brothers, although junior brother Wushuang and I seized this supreme Tao fruit, it's not our private property. Everything must be handled by the seniors of the sect. Therefore, don't make any little calculations. How to distribute the supreme Tao fruit, it will depend on the chief's intentions. Qin Hao scratched his head and appeared to have an unbearable itch. He laughed. Senior brother, we are not going to seize that supreme Tao fruit. We are just going to take a look. Besides, in terms of qualifications, you and junior brother Wushuang can certainly take one supreme Tao fruit. It will not be our turn. Qin Taichung laughed. For now, I am not at the peak of the common mysterious stage. It's not meaningful to take the supreme Tao fruit. Unless I break through the ravine mysterious stage and enter the common mysterious stage. Or else, even I cannot take the supreme Tao fruit. Junior brother Wushuang, what about you? I see that you're also at the ravine mysterious stage, right? Qin Taichung had powerful eyesight as he saw through Qin Wushuang's stage with one glance. Qin Wushuang laughed leisurely. I should not take it either. For the supreme Tao stage, I plan to make a dash for it by myself. It's not my wish to rely on the supreme Tao fruit. His words made Qin Hao and Qin Hongyan speechless. They both smiled bitterly. The supreme Tao fruit was placed before him, and he did not want it. Inwardly, they longed for it, yet they had no hope to get it. This was the difference. Qin Jining understood as he nodded. I think so too. With junior brother Wushuang's powerful talent, it's enough for him to break into the supreme Tao stage with his own power. Although the supreme Tao fruit can guarantee one to enter the supreme Tao stage, in the long run, the supreme Tao created by the supreme Tao fruit will certainly not have the potential as an elite warrior who comprehended the supreme Tao stage by himself. Of course, nothing is absolute. Above the supreme Tao stage, each step is extremely difficult. In terms of potential, to many people, it's like floating clouds. It's already a blessing to enter the supreme Tao stage. This was the truth. Those at the peak of the common mysterious stage who could enter the supreme Tao stage were 1 in 100. It could be said that entering the supreme Tao stage was almost every martial artist's lifelong wish. However, in the end, most people were destined to have no fate with the supreme Tao stage. Therefore, to most martial artists, entering the supreme Tao stage was a success. As for potential, it was not important. It was because it was impossible for many people to challenge a supreme stage like the genuine supreme Tao stage. Qin Hongyan asked with concern, I don't know how the chief will distribute these supreme Tao fruits. Haha, there are a few honored warriors at the peak of the common mysterious stage. If all of them can break into the supreme Tao stage, then we can certainly achieve a great victory in the Heavenly Emperor election. We can suppress the Xian clan and take back the Heavenly Emperor's seat. While they were talking, a figure came from outside the door. Brother Wu Shuang, Shan Yi is here to visit. Qin Wu Shuang was moved inwardly. He nodded to his fellow disciples and walked out. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chidian.com. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 703. The two brothers held each other's hands, and nothing was said. Congratulations, Shang Yi said with a light smile, especially since the one-horned dragon clan did not win. Very good. Sumi also laughed. Brother Wu Shuang, thank you. If you had not come out, most likely the one-horned dragon clan would have won. By that time, they would have been even more arrogant. Initially, the one-horned dragon clan did not share a good relationship with Su Mi's coiled dragon clan. These two clans were the most prominent among the true 9 dragon clans. Only, the one-horned dragon clan had a monstrous Jiang Kuei that broke the stalemate between these two clans. Unconsciously, the one-horned dragon clan had shown signs of surpassing the coiled dragon clan. Qin Wu Shuang said with a smile, Brother, what do you plan to do next? Shang Yi rubbed his chin lightly with one hand, and a trace of murderous intent flashed across his eyes. Initially, I plan to head to the Xian Yuan Mound and find trouble with the Heavenly Luo Daoist sect. However, since you hold a grudge against the Heavenly Luo Daoist sect, it would be the same for either of us to handle this matter. Most importantly, my father-in-law does not agree with me going to the Xian Yuan Mound. Brother, then leave it to me. Although Qin Wu Shuang spoke with an indifferent tone, there was a trace of coldness in his tone. How could Qin Wu Shuang forget the grudge of the Heavenly Luo Daoist sect? If he did not avenge the destruction of the Stargaze Palace, how could Qin Wu Shuang erase this grudge? Luo Tongtian had been jumping around for such a long time, it was time for him to stop. Shang Yi patted Qin Wu Shuang's shoulder. Brother, we will meet again. Remember what you promised me. You must find me at the endless Eastern Sea. Qin Wu Shuang laughed. Brother, let's keep in touch through the communication jade plate. I will contact you when we arrive at the Eastern Sea. Shang Yi laughed. Good, when we arrive at the Eastern Sea, let's explore it. The endless Eastern Sea is much more interesting than any of the forbidden spiritual zones. I will bring you to kill the sea beasts. It will be fun. You will definitely increase your strength quickly. Okay, it's a promise. After the two brothers had said their goodbyes, Qin Yunran had just returned. When he saw Qin Wu Shuang, he laughed. Wu Shuang, get ready. We are about to embark on our return journey. Second sect leader, why is Lord Ba looking for you? Haha, this time Mr. Ba is thinking for the Qin clan. He is gathering the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates to travel with him. Qin Wu Shuang stared blankly for a moment before he understood. Xian Yuan Ba wanted to put an end to the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates killing each other for the supreme Tao fruit of the Qin clan. This had saved a lot of trouble for the Qin clan. Before Xian Yuan Ba's eyes, even if that Xen Tianchen had some little schemes, most likely he would not have the room to execute them. Back in the guest house, Qin Yunran instructed, everyone get ready. Be on standby. Wu Shuang, you should also get ready. Qin Yunran smiled. Suddenly, his expression changed slightly. Outside the door, there was a very vigorous power. Moreover, this power was irresistible. As it took small steps, it seemed to bring about the pressure of heaven and earth. It made it difficult for people to breathe. Qin Yunran's expression changed. What was going on? Could it be someone had come to steal the supreme Tao fruit? Although this appeared somewhat absurd, the power of the incoming person had surpassed Qin Yunran's imagination. Little friend Qin Wu Shuang, can we talk in private? Like a cool breeze, an indifferent voice escaped from the crack of the door. When it reached everyone's ears, although it did not sound ear-piercing, they felt waves of heart-wrenching. Who is it? Qin Wu Shuang asked with vigilance. I am King Cicada, this voice said lightly. King Cicada? These two words sounded ordinary, yet the expression of Qin Yunran, Qin Wushuang, and the others changed drastically. King Cicada, the head chief of the Karakoram immortal clan, the highest existence in the entire Tianxian land. Qin Wushuang looked at Qin Yunran with suspicion. Qin Yunran also found it strange. Who was this King Cicada? Why would he look for a junior like Qin Wushuang? Even the head chief of the Qin clan would not be qualified to receive an elite warrior at the level of King Cicada. However, Qin Yunran did not doubt him at all. It was because the temperament of the incoming person was too powerful. His power had reached a stage beyond his imagination. Qin Yunran nodded and motioned to Qin Wushuang to meet him. Before an elite warrior at the level of King Cicada, Qin Wushuang had nothing to hide. To put it bluntly, he was giving you face by meeting you. For an elite warrior at the level of King Cicada, there was no need to consider any utilitarian motives. Qin Wushuang walked out in large strides. On the lawn outside the guest house, an indistinct figure like a ball of air walked slowly, appearing both real and illusory. Qin Wushuang followed behind him. Unconsciously, he had arrived deep in the mountain. The figure suddenly stopped, and the shadow that seemed real and illusory slowly turned into a real body. It was a Taoist with a few strands of beard. He was wearing a Taoist robe, and his entire person gave off a feeling of superiority and aloofness. It's my honor to meet Qin Wushuang, Taoist Master King Cicada. Qin Wushuang did not neglect him. Haha, the exam champion, Qin Wushuang, very good. King Cicada sized Qin Wushuang up meaningfully. There were traces of appreciation in his eyes. In the beginning, he did not understand why Li Bai would protect a young man. However, as the exam continued, King Cicada finally understood some reasoning. Indeed, Li Bai had exceptional insight. This Qin Wushuang did not have the strongest strength among all the participating martial artists. However, his methods and ability to win the championship were almost overwhelming. However, King Cicada did not expose Li Bai's care. King Cicada knew that, for now, Li Bai did not want this young man to know about his special care. Qin Wushuang, I am very curious. That 1,000-feeler cloud-chasing beast was subdued by my junior brother, Golden Cicada. The time of the seal will still be up. How come it accompanied you out of the island and was not attacked by the seal? From the corner of King Cicada's mouth, there was a trace of indifferent smile. Taoist Master King Cicada, since the chasing cloud beast was able to come out, it did not violate the rules. Qin Wushuang answered casually. He did not understand King Cicada's intentions. Thus, he did not answer in too much detail. Yes, since the chasing cloud beast was able to get out, at least it proves that you already got those 9 shooting sun arrows. This way, for sure, you also got the graceful spiritual bow that junior brother Golden Cicada lost, right? King Cicada asked with a smile. Qin Wushuang was somewhat surprised. He looked at King Cicada with astonishment and could not help but nod. For this matter, he could not deny it even if he wanted to. These Supreme Tao elite warriors were perceptive and saw through everything. Especially this senior King Cicada, he was unfathomable. It would be unwise to lie before such elite warriors. Haha, don't be nervous. Taoist Master King Cicada laughed. Since you got that graceful spiritual bow, it proves that you are the fated one. The Karakoram Immortal Clan is not that stingy to take it back. In fact, this graceful spiritual bow does not belong to the Karakoram Immortal Clan. Back then, junior brother Golden Cicada had obtained it by chance. Unfortunately, among the 18 shooting sun arrows, 9 of them are in the hands of the Xianyuan clan. Xianyuan clan? Haha! If junior brother Golden Cicada had not gone to the Xianyuan mound to challenge the Xianyuan clan, how could the shooting sun arrows have been lost? And how could junior brother Golden Cicada have died in a foreign land? Initially, he was defeated by a peerless elite warrior of the Xianyuan clan. Then, his whereabouts were unknown. I asked you to come because I wanted to see that graceful spiritual bow again. King Cicada's tone was incredibly sincere. Qin Wushuang knew that King Cicada's words were not false. He took out the graceful spiritual bow, and instantly, it shone with resplendent divine lights. Instantly, King Cicada's gaze was filled with complicated feelings. After a while, a wave of faint sadness flashed across his face. He nodded. "Put it away, it's good." Qin Wushuang put away the graceful spiritual bow. King Cicada said again, "Qin Wushuang, the meaning of the graceful spiritual bow is more complicated than you think. Since you have inherited it, you must have the resolve to accept all missions. Now, it's not convenient for me to say anything. I only want to tell you that the one who has the graceful spiritual bow will most likely face the hostility of all the totem powerhouses in the entire Tianxian land. If you can cross these obstacles, you'll be the ruler of the Tianxian land. If you cannot, Junior Brother Golden Cicada's past will most likely become your future. All right, I will not speak any more words. Take care." These words made Qin Wushuang more or less unable to make sense of them, and made him feel somewhat confused. However, clearly, a senior like King Cicada was not someone who spoke without evidence. Since he had specially called him here, certainly he would not speak some meaningless words. Therefore, although Qin Wushuang could not understand the meaning of these words, he still remembered them firmly. He bowed and Qin Wushuang said, "Senior King Cicada, then I will take my leave." King Cicada appeared to be dispirited as he waved his hand. "Go. Be careful of everything in the Xian Yuan Mound." Qin Wushuang's heart sank, for he knew that these words meant something else. However, he still could not see through the implied meaning. He could only laugh and turn to leave. When he returned to the guest house, Qin Yunran and the others were already prepared. On the way back, they were sent off by the flying boat specially used by the Karakoram Immortal Clan. The speed was incredibly fast, and in less than a day, they arrived at the Misty Moon Prefecture at the border between the two places. After they rested for a while at the Misty Moon Prefecture, they returned to the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. Indeed, the journey was peaceful, accompanied by the elite warriors of the Xian Yuan clan. Even if Xen Tianxian and the others had some courage, they would not dare to act rashly. Qin Yunran and his group returned to the Aspiring Throne Mountain smoothly. The Aspiring Throne Mountain was already boiling with excitement. The Qin clan had displayed their divine power at the Illusion Heavenly Lake. They had won the ordeal bravely and had taken 3 supreme Dao fruits. Along the way, Qin Wushuang had even killed Xian Wuji, the son of the Heavenly Emperor. All of these accomplishments were dazzling and made people feel proud and elated. It had been a long time since the Heavenly Emperor Qin clan had felt so proud and elated. The accumulated bad luck and suppressed resentment of 1,000 years were all released at once. This was a festival for the Aspiring Throne Mountain and for all disciples of the Qin clan. All the branches of the Qin clan from all over the place had sent people to congratulate the headquarters and to welcome the triumphant return of the Qin clan's hero. Especially Qin Wushuang, this dark horse that had appeared out of nowhere. Previously, countless disciples of the Qin clan had expressed doubts about his sudden appearance and were puzzled by how the chief had bestowed him with such a high position. Now, all doubts and puzzlement had vanished like smoke in thin air. What else was there to doubt? He had won the ordeal, taken 2 supreme Dao fruits, and killed Xian Wuji. All of these accomplishments were enough to explain everything. Even that honored warrior Ji Huai felt extremely ashamed after he had learned everything. He called Qin Shaohong and ordered him repeatedly to not cause trouble for Qin Wushuang, or else he would punish him according to the family rules. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 704. Qin Shongyang led the large group at the foot of the mountain to welcome the heroes from the Illusion Heavenly Lake. When the two chiefs met, they smiled at each other, for they were happy from the bottom of their hearts. Indeed, this time they had gained a lot. It had definitely surpassed their greatest expectation before their trip. When they left the aspiring throne mountain and headed to the illusion heavenly lake, the Qin clan only intended to watch the excitement and see the world. They did not have much intention to compete. With the Qin clan situation and talent reserve at that time, they did not have much qualification. However, all the dreamlike changes had come from Qin Wushuang, the variable. For all this time, Qin Wushuang had excelled at creating surprises and miracles. This trip to the illusion heavenly lake had unleashed such dreamlike creation to the extreme. Second, let me tell you a piece of good news. Yesterday, the solitary training place of the head chief overflowed vividly with purple clouds. I think the head chief is about to come out. Qin Shongyang was in high spirits when he met with happy events. Qin Yanran's brows moved. The head chief is coming out? Haha, great, this is great news. Behind Qin Shongyang, the few honored warriors at the peak of the common mysterious stage, including honored warrior Ji Huai, all revealed an abnormally straightforward expression. Clearly, to them, the news of the supreme Dao fruit was too sensitive. They cared more about how the supreme Dao fruit would be distributed than anyone else. Clearly, Qin Shongyang knew the thoughts of these people as he said with a smile, "Second, Taichung Wushuang, let's go to the solitary training place of the head chief and see if we can get some hints. Everyone else, return to the upright morality hall. We will be there soon." Hearing Qin Shongyang's instructions, no one dared to disobey. Instantly, Qin Jining, Qin Hao, and Qin Hanyin had become the most popular people. They were surrounded by everyone as they walked towards the upright morality hall. Clearly, everyone wanted to get the first line of concrete information from their mouths. The place where the head chief was in solitary training was the most dangerous and the safest place in the entire aspiring throne mountain. The mountain was almost vertical to the ground, on top of the towering cliff before a cave dwelling. Dense purple clouds kept overflowing from the cave dwelling. Qin Shongyang and Qin Yunran brought two juniors to the entrance of the cave dwelling. Qin Shongyang said in a low voice, "Head chief, Yunran and Shongyang brought two juniors to pay you a visit. Congratulations to head sect master for coming out of seclusion." Qin Yunran also smiled and said, "Head chief, you have been in seclusion for a long time." Qin Wushuang and Qin Taichung did not even dare to breathe loudly. He sensed the powerful divine Dao ripples and aura around this cavern. Just this presence alone was enough to prove that this head chief of the Qin clan was definitely not simple. The degree of his power far surpassed Qin Yunran and Qin Shongyang. "Yunran, Shongyang, it's been 200 years. An aged voice emerged slowly from inside. "Is everything all right at the Qin clan?" The head sect master's voice was unexpectedly old. Those who heard it were shaken to the core. When the head chief was in seclusion, no one knew where Qin Wushuang was, and Qin Taichung was not born. Even their grandfather's generation probably hadn't been born yet. 200 years passed in the blink of an eye within this cliff. Although the Qin clan has always been ridiculed by people, they still stand strong. This time, before I came to the head sect leader's cave, I have good news to report. "Oh," that aged voice said lightly. "It's been a long time since I had any good news this time. What good news?" Qin Shongyang said with a smile. This time, the Qin clan received the favor of the heavens as they bestowed virtuous disciples. During the trip to the illusion heavenly lake, at the 10,000-year immortal pilgrimage pageant of the Karakoram immortal clan, they displayed their divine power and took the championship. In addition, one disciple was in the top 4 and received a total of 3 supreme Dao fruits as a reward. 3 supreme Dao fruits? The aged voice of the head chief was also clearly somewhat astonished. He even sounded somewhat excited. "Chongyang, is what you said true?" "Head chief, it's true. The 3 supreme Dao fruits are genuine goods at a fair price. They were bestowed by the 5 totem powerhouses." The head chief was stunned. After a while, he roared with laughter. "Good. Indeed, it's good news. The Qin clan upholds justice for the heavens, and in the end, we will not be abandoned by the heavens." "Very good. It seems that the Qin clan has such an up-and-coming talent for nearly 200 years." "Very good. Head chief. Not only that, Qin Wushuang also killed Xan Tianwen's son, Xian Wuji, the Heavenly Emperor. He ruthlessly defeated the prestige of the Heavenly Emperor Xian clan. Also, Qin Wushuang also seized 2 supreme Dao fruits from the side of the divine beast. In other words, the Qin clan has a total of 5 supreme Dao fruits. Even someone as experienced and knowledgeable as the head chief was instantly dumbstruck. 5 supreme Dao fruits? Why did this matter sound so unimaginable? He was the leader of a sect. How could he not have seen the preciousness of the supreme Dao fruit? In terms of this plaything, sometimes it would be possible for one to not appear in a few hundred years. Not to mention 5 to the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates. Even if one appeared, they would fight over it with all their might. They would not hesitate to lose their lives. 5. This was an astronomical figure. For a time, even someone like the head chief was stunned by this news. After pondering over it for a long time, he regained his senses and said with a bitter smile, Yunran, Chongyang, you guys have given me too many surprises. 5 supreme Dao fruits. Give me 5 years. The Qin clan will certainly take back the Heavenly Emperor's seat. From the tone of the head chief, there was a form of unquestionable confidence and affirmation. 5 years, in 5 years, as long as they could use all these supreme Dao fruits, they would have 5 supreme Dao elite warriors. Even if some of them had bad luck or poor aptitude and failed to break through, at least there would be 4 new supreme Dao elite warriors. The success rate of consuming the supreme Dao fruit was above 95%. Among 100, there would not be more than 5 failed cases. Therefore, breaking through 4 out of 5 was a conservative estimate. Qin Yunran and Qin Chongyang also had a great understanding of the situation at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. At the Heavenly Emperor Mountain, if any sect had 7 or 8 supreme Dao elite warriors, they could definitely call themselves a king. Even at the peak of the Qin clan, they only had 7 or 8 supreme Dao elite warriors. If all 5 supreme Dao fruits were used well, the Qin clan could have 5 more supreme Dao elite warriors. Plus the 3 great chiefs, it would be 8 supreme Dao elite warriors. Instantly, they would stand shoulder to shoulder with the peak of the Qin clan. Therefore, regardless of Qin Yunran or Qin Chongyang, they were well aware of the feasibility of this matter. Because of this reason, they dared to deliver this good news to the head chief. It was because they also had a clear grasp of the situation. Yunran, what is the name of the young man that won the championship this time? Finally, the head chief had calmed down and remembered an important matter. Head chief, this child is called Qin Wushuang. The 4th is called Qin Taichong. This child Taichong is the senior brother of the ascending dragon slope. This child Wushuang is a new core disciple. He came from the human countries. He is the descendant of Qin Yu. Qin Yu? That Qin Yu who was at odds with Xi Huai. He has a brother called Qin Xiang, right? After all, the head chief was the controller of the Qin clan. Before Qin Yunran and Qin Chongyang emerged, the head chief was also in charge of all secular affairs of the Qin clan. Therefore, he was well aware of these illusions. Yes, it's that Qin Yu. Qin Chongyang said, Wushuang, Taichong, quickly pay your respects to the head chief. Qin Wushuang and Qin Taichong did not dare to neglect. Before this legendary cave dwelling of the head chief, they both saluted, Wushuang Taichong, it's a pleasure to meet you, head chief. No need for formalities, young man, well done. Because of you two, the Qin clan has become famous across the world. Congratulations. Wushuang, Taichong, what is your current strength? Have you reached the peak of the common mysterious stage? The head chief asked. Head chief, currently I am at the profound mysterious stage. I have not entered the common mysterious stage. Qin Wushuang answered honestly. Qin Taichong also said, I am only at the peak of the profound mysterious stage. I am 1 step away from the common mysterious stage. Oh, the head chief started to ponder with interest. 2 at the profound mysterious stage were able to win 1st and 4th place at the Illusion Heavenly Lake ordeal. Not simple. For each sect, there should be a few disciples at the peak of the common mysterious stage. right? Including Xi and Wuji, there should be 5 or 6 at the peak of the common mysterious stage. However, before the ordeal started, Wu Shuang killed Xi and Wuji. He did not participate at all. The other 2 at the peak of the common mysterious stage were eliminated by Wu Shuang. Therefore, Taichung was able to make it to the top 4. Qin Yunran explained the situation. The head chief laughed. Good. At the profound mysterious stage, you can kill someone at the peak of the common mysterious stage. It's all right if it's once, but you can eliminate someone at the peak of the common mysterious stage 2 or 3 times. Extraordinary. Truly extraordinary. It's been a long time since such a talented young man has appeared in my Qin clan. When he said this, suddenly the tone of the head chief changed as he asked, Yunran, Chongyang, for that supreme Tao fruit, how do you plan to distribute it? Although this is a good thing, if we don't distribute it well, it will affect our unity. For these 5 supreme Tao fruits, Wu Shuang got 4 of them. Yunran thought that at least one should be rewarded to Wu Shuang as a personal reward. For now, we have not announced the 2 supreme Tao fruits Wu Shuang seized from the side of the divine beast. Although the outside world has some guesses, they have not confirmed it. The head chief nodded. Since he got 4, per the rules, it should be a 50-50 reward. Qin Wu Shuang immediately said, I am satisfied to get 1. Wu Shuang, it's not a problem to reward you. The head chief said with an indifferent tone, however, I have some advice for you. With your talent and age, don't take the supreme Tao fruit if you can. With your own talent, you have great assurance to make a dash for the supreme Tao stage. Don't let the supreme Tao fruit rob your precious experience to make a dash for the supreme Tao stage. Qin Wu Shuang said seriously, Head chief, I will never take the supreme Tao fruit myself. Taichung, what about you? The head chief asked. Qin Taichung said, I also want to make a dash with my own power. The head chief laughed. Very good, young man, you should make a dash. The supreme Tao fruit is suitable for those at the peak of the common mysterious stage who cannot make a dash for the supreme Tao stage at a few hundred or even a few thousand years old. Most likely, they will not have any hope in their lifetime. The supreme Tao fruit is suitable for them. Young man, not even 40 years old, it's a sign of weakness to rely on the supreme Tao fruit. Qin Wu Shuang and Qin Taichung both nodded. Their eyes were filled with decisiveness. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.qijian.com. More chapters, support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 705. Indeed, as the head chief had said, although the supreme Tao fruit was good, it meant that an ordinary supreme Tao elite warrior would consume the supreme Tao fruit to increase the number of supreme Tao elite warriors. To supreme Tao elite warriors, consuming the supreme Tao fruit meant admitting defeat to fate and lacking confidence in breaking through the supreme Tao barrier. Of course, despite saying this, the temptation of the supreme Tao fruit to those at the peak of the common mysterious stage was unquestionable. Although the peak of the common mysterious stage had a long lifespan compared to the supreme Tao, it was nothing. For supreme Tao elite warriors, the indestructible divine soul was the eternal way of the king. The head chief asked again, now in the Qin clan, how many are at the peak of the common mysterious stage? Qin Yunran thought for a moment. Among the 12 honored warriors, there are 4 at the peak of the common mysterious stage. The remaining 8 are at the profound mysterious stage. Profound mysterious stage. That supreme Tao fruit will have nothing to do with them. What we need is to consume it immediately and become an existence of the supreme Tao expert right away. What are the potential of those 4 at the peak of the common mysterious stage? Who are they? The 4 honorables are Honorable Ji Huai, Honorable Ji Song, Honorable Ji Bai, and Honorable Ji Tong. Qin Chongyang said with great familiarity, Honored warrior Ji Huai and Ji Bo are slightly younger, but they are 600 or 700 years old. Ji Song and Ji Tong are already over 1,000 years old. Do they have the confidence to break through to the supreme Tao stage? The head chief asked. Honored warrior Ji Huai has always been rather confident. For the other three, Ji Tong has a lazy personality. Ji Song is too careless and somewhat careless. Ji Bo is eager to forge ahead, but slightly less talented. In general, if honored warrior Ji Huai erases his heart devil, he has more hope to comprehend and become a god. The head chief laughed. Good, let's do it this way. You will announce to the outside world that there are only 3 supreme Tao fruits. For the remaining 2, one will be rewarded to Qin Wushuang. You will keep the other one. There was a hierarchy to everything, and it would only be put to use when it was needed. If Ji Huai has the confidence, let him try to break through. If he does not have the confidence, we will consider giving him the last supreme Tao fruit. We will polish his temperament. Qin Yunran and Qin Chongyang both felt that the head leader's distribution was the most reasonable, so they said respectfully, "We obey the head leader's decree." The Great Supreme continued, "Go to the Upright Morality Hall first and do as I say." In addition, since the Heavenly Emperor Xian clan suffered a great loss, with Xian Tianwen's temperament, certainly he would not let it go. All of you must be careful. Once there's any movement, you must inform me immediately. However, I will come out of seclusion in at most a month. For the next 16 years, I will oversee the general situation of the Qin. The head sect leader's tone was solemn. In the next 16 years, it would be the time of the Heavenly Emperor election. At the Upright Morality Hall, a group of higher-ups and core disciples of the Qin clan had been waiting for a long time. When they saw the appearance of the 2 chiefs and 2 major disciples, all of them were filled with joy. They had been looking forward to it for a long time. At this time, seeing Qin Wushuang walking side by side with Qin Taichong beside the head, everyone no longer had any grudges and unfairness in their hearts. With the results before them, how could they dare to say how could Qin Wushuang be qualified to stand side by side with Qin Taichong? Now, the problem was, at the Heavenly Emperor Qin clan, who was qualified to stand side by side with Qin Wushuang. It was not about how could Qin Wushuang be qualified to stand side by side with the others, including Qin Taichong. Qin Yunran sat down boldly and waved his hand. He laughed heartily and said, "Third brother, it's better for you to say it." Qin Chongyang did not decline modestly as he nodded. "Everyone, today I have a few good news to announce. Firstly, it's time for the head chief to go into solitary training. In a few days, he will come out to oversee the general situation of the Qin clan. From now on, the Qin clan will have a stronger backbone and a more powerful backer. The second matter is what everyone is most concerned about. Indeed, our trip to the Karakoram Immortal clan was a complete victory. We won the Ordeal Championship in 4th place. In total, we acquired 3 Supreme Tao fruits, 1 set of Supreme Tao armor, and 1 Supreme Tao weapon." As soon as these words were spoken, there was a burst of cheers beneath the stage. Everyone cheered. When they heard the chief announce it with their own ears, such feeling was incomparable to the rumors. Qin Yunran held the 3 Supreme Tao fruits he had prepared beforehand in a container. The 3 Supreme Tao fruits were dazzling as they emitted powerful Supreme Tao lights that dazzled people's eyes. Some disciples who did not have strong self-control swallowed mouthfuls of saliva as their eyeballs almost fell out of their eye sockets. Supreme Tao fruit, TSK, no wonder it's the Supreme Tao fruit. That color, that temperament. Haha, Supreme Tao. When will we have such great fortune to acquire a Supreme Tao fruit? Those disciples all discussed spiritedly and whispered to each other. Envy and expectation filled the entire great hall. The third matter is to tell everyone. Xian Wuji of the Heavenly Emperor Gate was arrogant as he provoked Qin Wushuang all the way. He was killed by Wushuang's power and intelligence. It was definitely an exceptional matter to kill Xian Wuji. Everyone knew what Xian Wuji meant to the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. That high and aloof young man, that existence that prided himself as the son of the gods, had been killed by Qin Wushuang. The initial shock they felt when they first received this news was still written on everyone's face. Even that Qin Shaohong felt extremely ashamed. thinking about how he had been arrogant to Qin Wushuang. Now thinking about it, most likely Qin Wushuang had truly left him some face. Or else, with Qin Wushuang's power to kill Xian Wuji, it would have been as easy as turning his hand to kill Qin Shaoang. Even honored warrior Ji Huai had almost the same feeling. Since Qin Wushuang could kill Xian Wuji, he could also kill him, the so-called honored warrior. This was definitely not a joke. Although honored warrior Ji Huai was an old fox, in terms of power, equipment, and talent, how could he be compared with the son of the Heavenly Emperor? Everyone, since the Heavenly Emperor Gate has suffered such a loss, certainly they will not let it go. Therefore, the Qin clan must be 120% alert. For the Qin clan, in 16 years, we will have great ambitions. Certainly, the Heavenly Emperor Gate Xian clan will not sit and watch us rise. Therefore, in the next 16 years, especially the next 3 to 5 years, perhaps it will be the most difficult 3 to 5 years for the Qin clan. When we make it through, the dawn of the Qin clan will appear. With the momentum of the rising sun, we will replace the Xian clan, regain the seat of the Heavenly Emperor, and enforce justice for the heavens. Qin Shongyang's tone was full of exaggeration. His words had ignited the young and old of the Qin clan. Their expression became serious, and fervent lights emerged from their eyes. Qin Shongyang struck while the iron was hot, as he said again, "I believe everyone has been waiting for the Supreme Tao Fruit for a long time. For the significance of the Supreme Tao Fruit, I want to ask if any of you know?" Yes, of course. The Supreme Tao Fruit means an elite warrior of the Supreme Tao stage. Everyone knows this, right? Yes, if you don't know about the Supreme Tao Fruit, then you have wasted your time. Everyone expressed their stance. Qin Shongyang said with a smile, "That's right. The Supreme Tao Fruit means an elite warrior of the Supreme Tao stage." And what does an elite warrior of the Supreme Tao mean? You all know this clearly. To the Qin clan, an elite warrior of the Supreme Tao stage is the greatest capital for the Qin clan to fight for power. It's also the most important indicator for all powerhouses to compete. Qin Shongyang looked at everyone with a smile and appeared calm and collected. As far as he could see, he swept across everyone's face and observed everyone's expression. How will we distribute it? I think everyone already has a plan, right? For the Supreme Tao Fruit, only elite warriors at the peak of the common mysterious stage can break into the Supreme Tao stage after consuming it. It's useless to consume it if you are not at the peak of the common mysterious stage. When you reach the peak of the common mysterious stage, the effect of the Supreme Tao Fruit will disappear. Only those at the peak of the common mysterious stage can consume this Supreme Tao Fruit. Additionally, you must possess the strength at the peak of the common mysterious stage. It's because the Qin clan needs instant combat power. The faster the better. As soon as he spoke these words, those at the ravine mysterious stage and the perfect void martial stage all gave up. Although they had some wishful thinking, despite knowing that it was unlikely for them to win the lottery, they could not refrain from looking forward and pondering. However, the words of Qin Shongyang, the third chief, had completely declared them out. Of course, they had nothing to say. In terms of strength, they were inferior to those at the peak of the common mysterious stage. In terms of experience, clearly they were inferior. Qin Shongyang swept across the entire scene with a pair of sharp eyes. I don't know if any of you feel unconvinced and feel that you should have a share of this Supreme Tao Fruit. I only want to say that even Qin Wushuang and Qin Taichung, who have acquired this Supreme Tao Fruit, have not reached the peak of the common mysterious stage. Therefore, they are not prepared to consume the Supreme Tao Fruit. In terms of qualifications, which one of you is more qualified than them? Instantly, Qin Shongyang's words had dispelled the last trace of ill feeling in many people's heart. Even Qin Wushuang and Qin Taichung could not get it. Thinking carefully, they truly did not have the capital to complain. Could it be that they were more qualified than Qin Wushuang and Qin Taichung? However, now another problem had emerged. Currently, the Qin clan had 4 at the peak of the common mysterious stage. They were Ji Huai, Ji Song, Ji Bo, and Ji Tong. These four were all at the peak of the common mysterious stage. There were only 3 supreme Tao fruits. How could they divide them? Everyone carried such questions as they looked at Qin Chongyang. Clearly, they wanted to see how this third chief would deal with this situation. Ji Huai, Ji Song, Ji Bo, and Ji Tong, you four are the most qualified to consume it. There are only 3 supreme Tao fruits. How should we divide them? What do you think? The 4 of them looked at each other. Ji Tong's personality was the most lazy, and he was also the least diligent in cultivation. He chuckled and said, 2 sect leaders, in terms of talent, aptitude, and diligence, I'm the worst. If you distribute it to me, I will take it. If I don't get a share, I will not make a fuss. When he said it this way, it was inappropriate for others to say anything. Ji Song was rather thick-skinned as he laughed. Chief, I know my own business. I have no hope to break into the supreme Tao stage. If you give me this chance, I will fight to the end for the Qin clan, even if I have to sacrifice my life. Ji Bo was a man of few words. Yet, he only laughed and did not say anything. Everyone looked at Ji Huai, for they wanted to see how he would express his stance. Ji Huai welcomed everyone's gaze and said honestly, 2 chiefs, I will give up on this supreme Tao fruit. I want to break through with my own efforts. Besides, I have more than 50% assurance. Give up? For the so-called more than 50% assurance, he would give up 99% chance to enter the supreme Tao stage. Everyone felt that Ji Huai would be embarrassed to accept it. This supreme Tao fruit was seized by Qin Wushuang. Everyone knew about the little dispute between honored warrior Ji Huai and Qin Wushuang. Just as the Qin clan was discussing how to divide the supreme Tao fruit at the divine palace of the Heavenly Emperor Gate, Exantone gathered all supreme Tao elite warriors, including the supreme Tao warriors of the Heavenly Punishing Villa and the Sound of Thunder sect. They gathered urgently to discuss the great plan to attack the Qin clan. Ha! The general situation of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain is about to be activated. Is everyone looking forward to it? However, this war might not be as simple as everyone thinks. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chidian.com. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 706. At the divine palace of the Heavenly Emperor Gate, the Heavenly Emperor sat at the highest position. Next to him were Xi and Tianwen's 3 younger brothers. They were the other 3 supreme Tao elite warriors of the Heavenly Emperor Gate. For these 3 supreme Tao elite warriors, besides Xi and Tianchun, there was the youngest Xi and Tianchong and the only female warrior among the 4 supreme Tao warriors, Xi and Tianwu. These 4 supreme Tao elite warriors sat in the host seat. And at the guest seats, there were 5 people seated there, and they were actually all supreme Tao powerhouses as well. For the 2 from the Heavenly Punishing Villa, they were Yin Beifei, the head suzerain, and Yin Guinan, the second suzerain. These were 2 brothers born from the same mother. Together, they ruled the Heavenly Punishing Villa and were one of the weirdos among the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates. Clearly, Yin Beifei's strength was above Yin Guinan. The situation of the Sound of Thunder sect was more or less the same. The head suzerain, Lei Yu, and the second suzerain, Lei Ming. Lei Yu's strength was on par with Yin Beifei. Compared to Lei Ming and Yin Guinan, of course he was stronger. The remaining person was Luo Tongtian of the Heavenly Luo Daoist sect. Now, Luo Tongtian already learned about the death of Tian Mingshan and his 2 Shakyamuni at the Illusion Heavenly Lake. Enraged, Luo Tongtian broke through the Supreme Tao stage and became a new Supreme Tao elite warrior. This breakthrough immediately allowed Luo Tongtian's position to rise with the tide. He became the guest of the Heavenly Emperor and sat at the same table with many other Supreme Tao elite warriors. Although Luo Tongtian's position was not higher than the others, at least it was an upgrade. After becoming a Supreme Tao elite warrior, he was qualified to stand on equal footing with the Supreme Tao elite warriors of the Heavenly Punishing Villa and the Sound of Thunder sect. Although he was slightly inferior in terms of temperament, He already possessed this qualification. Expressionless, the heavenly emperor Exine Tianwen sat there like a statue. That form of authority made him appear awe-inspiring without being angry. He gave people the feeling of looking up to a high mountain. Before the heavenly emperor, those guests did not dare to act too presumptuously. Instead, they sat there with their heads lowered. Exine Tianchen had become the representative of the heavenly emperor as he slowly opened his mouth. Everyone, since there are no outsiders here, I am not afraid to speak frankly. In this trip to the illusion heavenly lake, the four forces here are all victims. My heavenly emperor Gate lost 2 exceptional disciples and returned empty-handed. They did not even get a spot in the top 10. Being the ruler of the Xian Yuan Mound Heavenly Emperor Mountain to my Exine clan, this result is a disaster. When he said here, the muscles on Exine Tianchen's face trembled. He glanced across the entire scene with a pair of sharp eyes and swept across the faces of those 5 guests. And all of you are also failures. To the heavenly punishing villa and the sound of thunder sect, Yin Qiansui and Lei Hong were also capable backbones. Previously, you had already suffered at the hands of Qin Wushuang at the floating snow house. Your supreme Dao weapons were also taken away by Qin Wushuang. Most importantly, due to the grudge between your 2 families and the Qin family, you were destined to not live peacefully with the Qin family. For the heavenly Luo Taoist sect, I think there is no need to mention it. With the new and old grudges added together, Dao Master Luo must want to kill Qin Wushuang more than any of us. Chew his flesh, drink his blood, and skin him alive. When those 5 people heard the words of Exine Tianchen, they all nodded with a solemn expression. At this point, everyone no longer had any taboo. Since they were all on the same boat, they would not speak the language of the 2 families. Exine Tianchen grasped everyone's mentality and continued to speak. If it were the Qin clan from a few years ago, without the need for you 3 to make a move, my Exine clan could have suppressed them. Now, the situation is different. Where are the variables? Do you all know? Exine Tianchen asked coldly. Of course it's that supreme Dao fruit. Lei Ming was not careless, as he was the first to speak. The Qin clan has acquired 3 supreme Dao fruits. This time they're going to show off. Luo Tongtian also spoke endlessly with hatred. Indeed, Luo Tongtian's hatred towards the Qin clan had reached the point where he could not live under the same sky. No, the Qin clan has more than 3 supreme Dao fruits. Exine Tianchen shook his head with certainty. The Qin clan has 5 supreme Dao fruits. 5? Luo Tongtian was dumbstruck. That's right, 5. The supreme Dao fruit accompanying the divine beast of the Amei Daoist sect was also acquired by Qin Wushuang. Wuji saw it with his own eyes. I can confirm this matter. Luo Tongtian revealed an incredibly unsightly expression. He kept mumbling as if he was cursing in a low voice. His eyes were full of unbalanced colors. With the Qin clan being so lucky, Luo Tongtian truly felt unbalanced. On the contrary, Yin Beifei said with an incredibly calm tone, Head Dao Luo, at this moment, you must remain calm. The angrier you are, the happier the Qin clan will be. With the heavenly emperor here, everything will be decided by him. We only need to follow his majesty, and naturally everything will come to light. Although this Yin Beifei was advising Luo Tongtian on the surface, he was flattering Exine Tianwen invisibly. Without leaving a trace, it sounded incredibly comfortable. Luo Tongtian nodded and muttered with a long sigh. When I think about how my heavenly Luo Taoist sect was destroyed by that kid, and how only Fourth and I are left among the 4 Dao warriors, my anger cannot be extinguished. Exine Tianchen waved his hand. Head Dao Luo, with just you alone, regardless of your anger, it's impossible for you to become enemies with the Qin clan. Suddenly, Lei Yu of the Sound of Thunder sect asked, Your Majesty, Brother Tianchen, has there been any recent news from Junior Wuji? Exine Tianchen was stunned and then said, Wuji is not dead. However, for now, he will not appear. I only want to tell everyone that Wuji will certainly appear with an even more powerful appearance. Oh, that's good. Being the outstanding talent of a young generation of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain, His Highness Wuji was plotted against by that Qin Wuxuan. Certainly, there will be a day when he will take revenge. Heavenly Emperor Exantianshan gave a light sneer. The chance to take revenge with his own hands? I am afraid we will not be able to wait until that time. Everyone, I did not call you here to let you hear how severe the situation is. Please tell us, Your Majesty, those 5 said tactfully. Tianshan, speak of the important points. Exantianshan nodded and said with a solemn tone, Everyone, to put it simply, the more prosperous the Qin clan is, the more disaster it will be for you and me. In the Heavenly Emperor election in 16 years, the Xian clan aims to be re-elected. Initially, the Qin clan and the Yun clan each have one less Supreme Dao elite warrior than the Xian clan. It would not be a problem for the Xian clan to be re-elected. However, now the Qin clan has acquired 5 Supreme Dao fruits. The situation has changed drastically. Inwardly, those 5 felt apprehensive, for they knew that Exantianshan was not speaking alarmist words to scare them. All of them held their breath and listened to Exantianshan continue to speak. For the Yun clan, in 16 years, there will not be too many changes. For the Qin clan, if they are given 16 years, certainly a few Supreme Dao elite warriors will appear. By that time, the situation will change drastically during the Heavenly Emperor election. Once the Xian clan loses the seat of Heavenly Emperor, the Heavenly Punishing Villa and the Sound of Thunder sect will not escape the fate of being banished from the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates. The Heavenly Luo Daoist sect will most likely be uprooted. If you 3 powerhouses sit and wait for the Qin clan to seize the seat of Heavenly Emperor, most likely you will be removed from the Xianyuan Mount. Everyone, do you feel that I am making empty threats? Exantianshan asked lightly. Those 5 looked at each other in dismay. There were traces of panic in their eyes. If they truly allowed the Qin clan to seize power, with their hostile relationship with the Qin clan and all these years of life and death struggles, it would be inevitable for the Qin clan to banish them. If the Qin clan truly wanted to retaliate, it would not be impossible for them to destroy their sect. Thinking of this, the 5 of them felt a chill run down their spines. Your Majesty, Lei Ming will not speak. The 3 of us are tied together with the Heavenly Emperor Gate. Everything will be decided by Your Majesty. We only wish to follow Your Majesty and gain a foothold at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. We will not have any other ambitions. However, if anyone threatens our position at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain, we will not hesitate. Certainly, we will fight with our lives on the line. Yes, we are willing to follow the Heavenly Emperor Gate to fight against the Qin clan. Luo Tongtian also expressed his stance. Yin Guinan was more cunning than them, as he said with a smile. Now we are all on the same boat. Certainly we are of one mind. Most importantly, how to fight against the Qin clan. In my humble opinion, to fight against the Qin clan, it is best to be hasty and not slow. If we drag it out, when the Qin clan grows strong, it will not be easy to deal with them. To deal with them, we must make a move as soon as possible. We must take down the Qin clan with thunderous momentum. Initially, the Heavenly Emperor was expressionless. Upon hearing Yin Guinan's words, suddenly he opened his eyes and looked at Yin Guinan's face for a moment. Then, he closed his eyes with a smile. Yin Guinan was secretly happy, for he knew that his words had won the favor of the Heavenly Emperor. He continued to say, Now, the Qin clan is getting carried away. We can use this opportunity to launch an attack against the Qin clan. Additionally, we can also let the other sects of the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates contribute. Oh, Exantianshan was overjoyed. Guinan, what ideas do you have? I think everyone remembers that before heading to the Illusion Heavenly Lake, the Heavenly Emperor made 3 rules. Now that we are back at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain and not at the Karakoram Immortal Clan, we hold the right to speak. We only need to say that the Qin clan broke the rules and attacked Wuji. When we rise up and call on the other sects, how could they dare to say no? This plan had spoken to the bottom of the Heavenly Emperor Gate's heart. In fact, regardless of the Heavenly Emperor or Exine Tianshun, they all planned it this way. However, when it was proposed by Yin Guinan, it carried a different meaning. Exine Tianshun said with a light smile, "This will require the sound of Thunder's sect and the heavenly punishing villa to provide evidence." Initially at the Karakoram Immortal Clan, that female, Celestial Meow, Yin did not cooperate well. The Amei Daoist sect was in the wrong and was deceived by him. Now that we are back at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain, it's up to us to say anything. Besides, Qin Wushuang also admitted that he killed Wuji. This is easy to handle. Initially, the divine beast testified for him. Now, who will testify for him? Brother Tianshun, I am afraid that Mr. Ba intends to protect the Qin clan. Yin Guinan was not without worry. Suddenly, Exentenwen said, "Everyone, don't worry about the totem powerhouse. I will make a report. For this matter, I will take care of it alone." Mr. Ba protected the Qin clan under such circumstances. However, it's another matter when we return to the Xian Yuan Mount. Most importantly, among the totem clan, although Mr. Ba is powerful, he is only a chief ranked at the bottom. If your majesty can get an explanation from the totem clan, then the matter of sending a punitive expedition to the Qin clan will be absolutely foolproof. Yin Guinan said with a sincere smile. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chidian.com. More chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 707. Exine Tian when revealed a light smile. Suddenly, a burst of ruthless, murderous intentions shot from his brows. He looked at the direction of the Qin clan. Aspiring Throne Mountain. If he did not drive the Qin clan out of the aspiring Throne Mountain, the Heavenly Emperor's seat would not be secure. Luo Tongtian rubbed his fists as if the blood in his entire body was boiling. He asked with joy, "Your Majesty, when do you plan to make a move?" Exantanwen said lightly, "Within 3 days." Within 3 days? At first, everyone was stunned. Then, they revealed a look of ecstasy. Within 3 days, it was great. Even if the Qin clan acquired the Supreme Dao Fruit, they could forget about becoming Supreme Dao elite warriors within 3 days. The Supreme Dao Fruit was not an ordinary spiritual fruit. Without 1 or 2 years, how could they refine it? After refining it, they must integrate it and stabilize the Supreme Dao stage. From beginning to end, they would not succeed without 5 or 7 years. Tianshun, you speak. The Heavenly Emperor shot a glance at Exine Tianshun. Exine Tianshun nodded with a smile. "Everyone, we plan to set up a Hongmen banquet and gather the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates to gather at the Heavenly Emperor Gate. We will congratulate the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates for achieving good results at the Illusion Heavenly Lake. We will also ask the Qin clan to bring the Supreme Dao Fruit and let all sects share it. By that time, at the banquet, we will bring up the old grudges and accuse the Qin clan of violating the 3 rules set by the Heavenly Emperor. Everyone will rise up and attack. During the banquet, we will kill all Qin clansmen that participate. Then, we will gather the other sects and attack the Qin clan together." Yin Guinan laughed. "This move is called luring the snake out of its hole. Good strategy. This way, we will catch the Qin clan off guard, and certainly we can take them down. However, what if the Qin clan sees through this strategy and does not come?" Lei Yu asked. "Not coming?" Exine Tianshun laughed. "It's better if they don't come. It means they have a guilty conscience and do not respect the orders of the Heavenly Emperor. They will have more excuses to send a punitive expedition against them." Everyone roared with laughter. Indeed, such a plan was foolproof. Exine Tianshun narrowed his eyes into a line as he said coldly, "Everyone, you have already seen the monstrous talent of that Qin Wushuang. This child was the trial champion. If he was allowed to continue growing at this speed, it would be incredible. Therefore, His Majesty promised that after the Supreme Dao Fruit is obtained, whoever kills Qin Wushuang will be rewarded with a Supreme Dao Fruit." Everyone was overjoyed, especially Luo Tongtian, whose eyes were shining. Kill Qin Wushuang. Receive the supreme Tao fruit as a reward. Luo Tongtian swore to himself that he must kill Qin Wushuang and obtain this supreme Tao fruit. Only by acquiring the supreme Tao fruit and having another elite warrior of the supreme Tao emerge from the heavenly Luo Taoist sect, the heavenly Luo Taoist sect would truly be qualified to stand side by side with the heavenly Emperor Eight Gates. Only then would they be qualified to reside at the heavenly Emperor Mountain. Prepare yourselves. In 3 days, the heavenly Emperor Gate will send out the heavenly Emperor Assembly. Xi and Tianqian announced. All 3 of you go back and prepare. Gather all elite warriors from your sects and wait for orders. Although the punitive expedition will be under the name of the Heavenly Emperor Eight Gates, the main force will be ours. The other forces would definitely not put in any effort, especially the Yun clan. It would be a problem whether they would step out or not. Remember, everything must be done in secret. Before this, we must not reveal any flaws. Dare to not make a move? The next target will be them. Lei Ming hooted. The Heavenly Emperor glared with his eyes and shot out a burst of cold lights. Lei Yu immediately berated him. Second, do not speak nonsense. Lei Ming smiled embarrassedly and did not dare to speak a word. They dismissed on the spot and returned to prepare for the mobilization of troops. After those 5 left, Xi Tianqian said to the Heavenly Emperor with a smile, Your Majesty, it's almost ready. When will you contact the Xian Yuan clan? Xi Tianwen said lightly, I have my own plans. Tianqian, for the trip to the Illusion Heavenly Lake, your leadership has failed. This time, it's your chance to redeem yourself. Tianwu, Tianzhong, you must assist Tianqian. Since you're making a move, you must do it cleanly and efficiently. You must not give the Qin clan the chance to turn things around. Yes, Your Majesty. We will certainly surround the Qin clan and make it impossible for them to escape. Xi and Tianwen revealed an indifferent smile. The Qin clan is an ancient inheritance. It's extremely difficult to cut the weeds and pull out the roots. You will make a list of the most dangerous figures in the Qin clan. As long as these key figures are executed, even if the other wandering soldiers escape, they will not pose much of a threat. Of course, if we can kill them all, it would be the best. However, we must not miss those important figures. For the key figures, Your Majesty, can you make it clear? Xi and Tianqian asked, Are the 3 great chiefs considered key figures? And those 12 great honored warriors? Some of the elders and core disciples, especially Qin Taichung and that Qin Wushuang, are they considered key figures? Xi and Tianqian said with an apologetic smile, that Qin Wushuang must be the key figure among the key figures. There are also a few other core disciples. You must keep a close eye on them. Xi and Tianwen said coldly, the younger generation of disciples, the stronger their plasticity will be when they escape. They will also have greater troubles in the future. On the contrary, the old guys do not have much plasticity. They will only be that at most. Yes, Qin Wushuang, Qin Taichung, Qin Jining, and Qin Shaohong must all die. Xi and Tianqian said viciously. You can use the information and draft this yourself. I will take a trip to the Totem Clan. Xi and Tianwen floated out the door. In a moment, he arrived at a secret place inside the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. It was the core of the Xian Yuan Mound, the Xian Yuan Secret Territory. This Xian Yuan Secret Territory was the habitat of the Xian Yuan clan and the most mysterious place in the entire Xian Yuan Mound. Xi and Tianwen did not dare to neglect as he chanted a few spells. With a pull of his hand, a divine talisman transformed into nothingness and shot into the sky. In a moment, it disappeared without a trace. In a moment, a faintly discernible voice emerged from the Xian Yuan Secret Territory. Xi and Tianwen, what are you doing here? I am here to pay my respects to the totem god. Come in. With a flash, Xi and Tianwen's figure disappeared in the sky. In the next moment, inside the secret territory, a winding stone path led to the front leisurely. Among a cluster of dense bamboo forest, a corner of a building revealed itself. It was a few simple and elegant courtyards. Xian Tianwen's figure walked on that little path. When he arrived before the door of that courtyard, he stopped before the firewood door. Tianwen pays his respects to Sir Wei. Xian Tianwen bowed from a distance outside the door. Inside this courtyard, a thick and sturdy giant man dressed in ordinary cotton clothes appeared. At first glance, he appeared to be a thick and sturdy farmer. With his thick hands and feet, he was chopping firewood with an axe. However, if one were to look closely, one would feel that this person seemed to be a person from a painting. This courtyard, this bamboo forest, and everything else in the surroundings were just an ink painting. The law of nature was to merge with nature. The ultimate source of the heavenly law was to be nature. Without a doubt, this farmer-like person pursued the artistic conception of the law of nature. Anyways, Xian Tianwen, you would not have come to the temple for no reason. Today, why have you come here to disturb my peaceful training? That Sir Wei was called Xian Yuan Wei. He was one of the top 3 genuine supreme Dao elite warriors of the Xian Yuan clan. At the Xian Yuan Mound, he held a revered position. Sir Wei, for the trip to the Illusion Heavenly Lake, did Sir Ba come to report to you? Xian Tianwen asked probingly. Xian Yuan Wei twisted his brow and said lightly, I am no longer interested in the matters of the outside world. What about the Illusion Heavenly Lake? Sir Wei, I heard that initially Golden Cicada of the Illusion Heavenly Lake came to the Xian Yuan Mound to challenge Sir Yang. He was defeated by Sir Yang and suffered severe injuries, but did not die. However, Sir Wei intercepted and killed Golden Cicada and was banished to this place for thousands of years. Xian Tianwen also gathered his courage to speak as his heart thumped. Indeed, anger flashed across the eyes of the Xian Yuan Mound. A burst of divine light shot out from his eyes and swept towards Xian Tianwen directly. Xian Tianwen only felt his entire body tremble as if he was cramping. Instantly, he twitched. Sir Wei, please listen to me. I never meant to offend you. Please listen to me. Despite being the Heavenly Emperor of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain, before this Sir Wei, Xian Tianwen was like an ant. He did not have any leeway to resist. Xian Tianwen, if you cannot tell me the reason, even if you are the Heavenly Emperor of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain, today I will grind your bones and scatter your ashes. Xian Yuan Wei's expression was awe-inspiring without being angry. He did not speak these words viciously, yet the power contained beneath his tone made Xian Tianwen feel waves of lingering fear. Yes, yes. Xian Tianwen tidied his clothes and said carefully, Indeed, I don't have any ill intentions. I just want to confirm those guesses. It's because I know that the graceful spiritual bow used by Golden Cicada has reappeared in the world. The graceful spiritual bow has reappeared in the world. Xian Yuan Wei's gaze turned cold as he shot out cold lights. He fixed his gaze at Xian Tianwen. Are you speaking the truth? Definitely. Xian Tianwen vowed solemnly. Upon hearing the name of the graceful spiritual bow, Xian Yuan Wei's attitude towards Xian Tianwen had clearly eased up. However, the viciousness in his eyes had become even more intense. He pressed his hands tightly against each other as his bones emitted crackling sounds. Like an enraged lion, this Xian Yuan Wei's eyes were completely red. After a while, he turned around and said, Xian Tianwen, are you sure? Do you have any conclusive information? Xian Tianwen immediately said, Initially, I only suspected it. Since the graceful spiritual bow has a great background, I did not dare to make a conclusion. However, as the situation kept changing until the trip to the Illusion Heavenly Lake, I am truly sure that person is holding the graceful spiritual bow. Who is it? Xian Yuan Wei said with a cold sneer. It's a young disciple of the Qin clan. At less than 30 years old, he is almost at the edge of the supreme Dao stage. He also killed people above his level as if he was picking up grass. He was using a divine bow of unknown origin. In the beginning, I did not suspect the graceful spiritual bow until the trip to the Illusion Heavenly Lake, according to the information that Qin Wushuang made it to the 10th ordeal island. Just when everyone thought he would die for sure, he rode the 1,000-feeler cloud-chasing beast and left the island. That 1,000-feeler cloud-chasing beast is the spiritual beast sealed by Golden Cicada. Without Golden Cicada lifting the seal, it could not have left the island. Therefore, I suspect that Qin Wushuang has certainly inherited Golden Cicada's graceful spiritual bow. Xian Yuanwei's expression was incredibly unsightly. The corner of his mouth twitched lightly, and his face appeared extremely malevolent. A burst of rich, murderous intentions rapidly expanded from his entire body. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.qijian.com. More chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 708. Golden Cicada. Haha, Golden Cicada. Suddenly, Xian Yuanwei roared with laughter. Even for Golden Cicada, didn't he die in a foreign land? Just a kid from a non-totem powerhouse. What can he accomplish? Xian Tianwen, you did not come to me just to talk about this, right? When Xian Tianwen saw Xian Yuanwei's arrogant attitude, although he was somewhat anxious inwardly, he gathered his courage to say, Sir Wei, for a mere kid from the Qin clan, of course there's no need for you to step out. I will do it myself. This Qin clan does not respect the orders of the Heavenly Emperor Gate. I also plan to conquer them. Now, I have the excuse and reason to conquer them. However, I am afraid that Mr. Ba will speak for the Qin clan. Therefore, I am still somewhat hesitant. Xian Yuanwei was not an idiot, as he gave a cold sneer. So you came to beg me? Xian Tianwen bowed. If it were not for you stepping out, it would not have helped if I had asked others. Xian Yuanwei roared with laughter. You do know how to talk. However, since you were able to tell me about the graceful spiritual bow, it's clear that you are smart. That's right. Initially, I was the one who advocated to kill Golden Cicada, and I was the one who carried it out. Only, people of the Illusion Heavenly Lake did not have evidence and complained to Brother Yang a few times. In the end, Brother Yang had no choice but to banish me from the Xian Yuan clan. In fact, he was just putting on a show. Of course, Xian Tianwen knew the tricks within this matter. He also knew the position of this Xian Yuanwei at the Xian Yuan clan. He knew that besides Xian Yuan Yang, the head chief, he was one of the 2 or 3 people with the highest position. Compared to Xian Yuanwei, Xian Yuan Ba was far inferior. As long as Xian Yuanwei was willing to promise to take care of all matters, even if they were to conquer the Qin clan without any justification, they would be fine in the end. Speak. What do you want me to do? Xian Yuanwei asked lightly. In fact, it's perfectly justifiable for us to conquer the Qin clan. Only, in case Mr. Ba asks, we cannot refute with our lowly position. I only need you to take care of us. I will be endlessly grateful. Yes, this is a trivial matter. However, if you seize the graceful spiritual bow, you must give it to me. Xian Yuanwei only had this request. Of course, for this bow, how could I dare to take it for myself? Xian Tianwen laughed happily. He knew that at this point, he had basically succeeded. Xian Yuanwei thought of something else. He raised his thick eyebrows and said, Of course, if you fail, then you will have to bear the consequences. Xian Tianwen laughed confidently. Please rest assured, Sir Wei. Since I plan to make a move, certainly I have a chance to win. Or else, how could I dare to boast? However, Xian Yuanwei did not agree. Don't underestimate the Qin clan. Although they are incomparable to the totem powerhouses, the Qin and Yun clan are both ancient inheritances and have a profound foundation. Unless the totem clan stepped out, it would be a fool's dream to take down the Qin clan easily. You have to be prepared for a long battle. I know. Therefore, when I step out, I must mobilize all the sects of the Heavenly Emperor 8 Gates, Xian Tianwen said with a smile. Take care of yourself. Remember, do not look down on the Qin clan. When Xian Yuanwei said this, he raised the axe and chopped at a giant tree stump. With a cracking sound, it split into 2 halves directly. Xian Yuanwei said with an indifferent smile, Do you feel that the power of my axe is this weak? It is even less than an ordinary farmer? Xiantianwen could not understand the profoundness within this. He laughed and said, I am stupid and cannot see the depth. I will not dare to speak nonsense. For sure there must be a deeper meaning for you to chop the firewood. Xian Yuan Wei roared with laughter. All right, indeed you do not understand. Go. When Xiantianwen received Xian Yuan Wei's promise, he was perfectly satisfied. He bowed to the ground. I will take my leave. Haha, boss, you didn't expect it, right? You have entered the exquisite, mysterious boundary stage. I have also entered it, ha ha ha. Bao Bao's voice emerged from the mountain valley. And Senior Lone, in the end you are one step behind me. Now, you are at the perfect void martial stage. Boss, you are the chosen one. Only I can follow your footsteps closely. Bao Bao's tone was incredibly proud. Once again, these three brothers gathered together. They were all incredibly happy. In less than a year, unexpectedly, training at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain had allowed Bao Bao and Lone's strength to increase tremendously. Boss, this time you have made such great contributions for the Qin clan. Your ancestor Qin, you can return to the Sacrificial Valley, right? Haha. In this case, your father can also come to the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. And you and senior sister Mu Rong's marriage can also be arranged. Bao Bao had thought it through thoroughly. Qin Wushuang laughed. For this matter, we must ask the chief. By the way, Bao Bao, how are the preparations for your monkey clan to move back to the Xianyuan Mound? Bao Bao laughed. Boss, I am just waiting for the Qin clan to prosper. If the Qin clan becomes the next Heavenly Emperor Gate, the monkey clan will prosper. Boss, by that time, you can't not take care of us, right? Bao Bao, you are getting better at talking nonsense. How can I not take care of you? Lone leaned over and scolded him with a laugh. Bao Bao scratched his head and chuckled. Boss, go accompany senior sister Mu Rong. Ever since Lord Mu Rong broke into the Supreme Dao stage, senior sister Mu Rong was also pulled away for special training. Haha, Lord Mu Rong is also worried that senior sister Mu Rong's strength cannot keep up with your pace. Qin Wushuang did not mind. Since they were already a family, there was no need to compete in terms of strength. Bao Bao, this time I plan to stay for a few days. When Su Air comes out of solitary training, I will take you guys to a fun place. When Bao Bao heard about a fun place, he was instantly overjoyed. Then he guessed something. Boss, are you taking us to that mountain cave? Yes. Bao Bao was radiant with joy. Good. Last time at this loop of the Xianyuan Mound, we were trapped under the raging flame cliff and did not follow your pace. For the next loop, you must not leave us behind. Right, Senior Lone? Initially, the purple flame electric beast was a spiritual beast of the Seven Deadly Arrays formation. He had never been friendly to the owner of the Seven Deadly Arrays formation. He twitched his mouth. I don't mind, but if boss wants me to go, of course I will go. Haha, boss, where's the next loop? Bao Bao asked while blinking his eyes. The endless Eastern Sea. Qin Wushuang did not hide it. Instantly, Bao Bao's eyes lit up. The endless Eastern Sea is the heaven for us beast clans. Haha, the endless Eastern Sea and the heavenly fire southern border are the two places I yearn for the most. Senior Lone, could it be that you are scared when you hear the name of the endless Eastern Sea? The purple flame electric beast said with an unfriendly tone. Do you think I'm the same as you, little kid? While they were talking, suddenly, a burst of purple light erupted from the valley ahead. Qin Wushuang was moved inwardly as he said in a low voice, Okay, it's the presence of Lord Mu Rong. Su Air must have come out of solitary training. He initiated the purple cloud in yang wings and dashed towards the direction of that valley. Bao Bao immediately chased after him. Boss, you're truly putting your lover before your friend. However, Lone said, you don't admit it even though I said you were a little kid. It's just that absence makes the heart grow fonder, all right? In the valley, Murong Su walked out of the valley with graceful steps. Suddenly, she saw a figure plunging down from the sky. A beautiful arc cut across the sky and appeared incomparably elegant. When she looked closely, she realized it was her lover that she had yearned for day and night. Inwardly, she was overjoyed at the turn of events. "Brother Qin, you are finally back." Qin Wushuang dropped down from the cloud and welcomed her with a smile. He hugged Murong Su in his arms and said, "Su Heir, it's me. I am back." Murong Su's entire body went limp. She closed her eyes and enjoyed the wonderful encounter. Inwardly, she only felt that nothing was more wonderful than this moment in life. Hundreds of days and nights of yearning had been exchanged for a sudden reunion. Naturally, such joy was indescribable. Murong Su was only intoxicated for a moment. Suddenly, she remembered something and said in a low voice, "Brother Qin, my father is behind us." Qin Wushuang laughed and let go. "Your father is my future father-in-law. What are you afraid of?" When he looked around, he saw Mu Rong Qianji standing in the distance with a smile. He stood with his hands behind his back as if he was looking at the scenery around him. He did not even look in their direction. Qin Wushuang knew that this father-in-law was considerate. He laughed and pulled Murong Su's hand. "Su Heir, come with me to meet your father." When they walked before Mu Rong Qianji, it was Mu Rong Qianji who spoke first. "Ha ha, Wushuang, after not seeing you for a year, your strength has increased again. Congratulations, you are already at the exquisite, mysterious boundary stage. Lord Mu Rong has advanced to the supreme Dao stage. This is even more great news." Qin Wushuang laughed. Mu Rong Qianji said half-jokingly, "A moment ago, someone seemed to be mumbling something about father-in-law. How come you changed the way you address me?" Qin Wushuang chuckled. Murong Su's tender face blushed as she said angrily, "Father, don't make fun of us." Mu Rong Qianji roared with laughter. Yes, I forgot that my daughter also has a shy side. By the way, Wushuang, recently I've been accompanying Su Heir in solitary training and don't know about the outside world. How did you guys gain from this trip?" Bao Bao, who was on the side, immediately picked up and said with smiles of exultation, "Senior Mu Rong, this time my boss is truly famous. During the Illusion Heavenly Lake Ordeal competition, he suppressed all the young talents of the Tianxian land and became the champion. He was rewarded with 2 supreme Dao fruits." "Bao Bao, don't talk nonsense. The young talents of the Totem clan did not participate and allowed me to have the foundation to win the championship. Or else, how could I have a chance to win?" Bao Bao laughed. "The young people of the Totem clan all have elite warriors of the supreme Dao stage. It's not fair for them to participate. Of course, in the future, Boss will be on par with the Totem disciples. Bao Bao firmly believes that Boss can do it. By the way, Senior Mu Rong, the son of the Heavenly Emperor, Xen Wuji, was killed by our boss when he clamored with our boss." "Ha ha ha, are you surprised?" Xen Wuji, the son of the Heavenly Emperor. Mu Rong Qianji was completely stunned. He had seen Xen Wuji's divine skills and power. Initially, when the floating snow house was proposing marriage, Xen Wuji was in charge of supervising. Even Mu Rong Qianji felt somewhat inferior to Xen Wuji's methods and power. He had, at this moment, Mu Rong Qianji was shocked inwardly. Inwardly, he felt that indeed, the person his daughter had married was extraordinary. Just when Qin Wushuang was about to explain, suddenly, the communication jade plate sent a message. When he immediately activated it, Qin Chongyang had sent an urgent order. "Wushuang, return to the Upright Morality Hall, quickly. We have urgent matters to discuss." Qin Wushuang did not dare to neglect, as he immediately explained the reason. After bidding farewell to Mu Rong Qianji and Murong Su, he flew towards the Upright Morality Hall. P.S. The Great War is about to start, but the monthly votes have stopped burning. I realize that for something like monthly votes, it's impossible to get without asking for them. If everyone has them, vote for me. The double vote is about to end. It would be a waste if you don't vote. The 6th place in the classification is my goal. Currently, the soaring of Galaxia is going well. It would not be right if the monthly votes were to decline. Tomorrow will be the beginning of the burning flames of war. Please give me the monthly votes and let me work hard. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chidian. Calm. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 709. When they arrived at the Upright Morality Hall, half of the Qin clan from the chief to the core disciples were already there. A small half of them had also arrived. Junior brother Wu Shuang, this way. Qin Taichung's straightforward voice sounded. Although the current atmosphere was solemn, it caused Qin Taichung's straightforward voice to be somewhat abrupt. However, these two were the most popular people of the Qin clan. Recently, they had made great contributions to the Qin clan. Naturally, no one felt it was too abrupt. Senior brother Taichung, what happened? Qin Wushuang asked in a low voice. I don't know either. I came as soon as I received the notice. However, it does not seem to be a small matter. Qin Taichung was used to major situations and knew some clues. It didn't take long for everyone to arrive. After the arrival of the two chiefs, Qin Chongyang revealed his usual scholarly and dignified expression. As for second sect leader Qin Yunran, he was actually more serious than usual. Qin Chongyang did not beat around the bush as he said straightforwardly, Everyone, this time I have called you here urgently because I have important matters to discuss. Upon hearing the tone of the chief, everyone felt apprehensive inwardly. They fixed their gaze at Qin Chongyang. The Heavenly Emperor Gate just issued a heavenly gathering order and asked the Qin clan to bring the supreme Dao fruit. Tomorrow morning, we will head to the Heavenly Emperor Gate to participate in the celebratory feast. Let the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates see the supreme Dao fruit together. There is no good feast. Qin Yunran gave a long sigh. Everyone felt apprehensive. The Qin clan had just seized the supreme Dao fruit. For the Heavenly Emperor Gate to make such a move, their intentions were punishable. With the usual relationship between the Heavenly Emperor Gate and the Qin clan, how could they hold some celebratory feast for the Qin clan? As long as one was not stupid, they would know that the Heavenly Emperor Gate did not have good intentions. Honored warrior Ji Song was the first one to cry out, "Two chiefs, even I know about this matter. The Heavenly Emperor Gate will not be good. I think most likely they want to target our supreme Dao fruit." That's right, for the supreme Dao fruit, besides the totem powerhouses, ordinary sects, even the Heavenly Emperor Gate would not encounter it in a few hundred years. Certainly, they do not have good intentions. Second chief, let's refuse. Qin Wushuang had a bad premonition inwardly. It was certain that the Heavenly Emperor Gate did not have good intentions. In particular, the Heavenly Emperor Gate's trick was very sinister. He had only informed the Qin family today about the celebration banquet tomorrow and did not give them any time to prepare. It could be said that he had caught the Qin family off guard. However, Qin Taichung muttered and cursed, "What is this Heavenly Emperor Gate doing?" Qin Wushuang raised his head and asked, "Chief, has the Heavenly Emperor Gate appointed anyone to go? Our sect leader will definitely be asked to attend such an occasion. Moreover, they also specified that we must bring our great heroes, which is Wushuang and Taichung." Qin Wushuang frowned. The Heavenly Monarch Gate has ulterior motives. Sect Master, this is a trap set by the Heavenly Emperor Gate. Qin Chongyang raised his eyebrow and revealed a surprised expression. Wushuang, tell me. The Heavenly Emperor Gate scheme can be said to be a conspiracy, but it can also be said to be an open conspiracy. If they were sincere about holding a banquet for us, they definitely wouldn't have informed us only today. In my opinion, they only informed us now to catch us off guard. Without any time to prepare, we will fall into their trap in a hurry. If I've guessed correctly, certainly tomorrow's trip will be a trap. The celebration is fake, but they're going to suppress us. Suppress us? Qin Taichung was somewhat confused. Didn't they already use this move at the Karakoram Immortal Clan? Wouldn't they find it old-fashioned to use it again? At the Karakoram Immortal Clan, all totem powerhouses are present. Additionally, for some unknown reason, that divine white tiger suddenly went against his words. However, now that we have returned to the Heavenly Emperor Mountain, this is the territory of the Heavenly Emperor Gate. Here, they have the absolute right to speak and can influence public opinion. The reason that could be refuted at that time may not be refuted at this time. Qin Chongyang and Qin Yunran nodded with gratification. For such possibility, they had already discussed before coming here. Inwardly, they also believed this way. It was rare for Qin Wushuang to be so young and to be able to analyze it so thoroughly. It seems that this young man did have the potential to be nurtured. Qin Taichung gave a muffled sneer. In this case, we should not go at all. Or else, if we walk into their trap directly, wouldn't we be walking right into their trap? Qin Wushuang shook his head dispiritedly. If we do not go, the Heavenly Emperor Gate will also have an explanation. Firstly, they can say that we have a guilty conscience. Secondly, they will frame us with the crime of not obeying the orders of the Heavenly Emperor. By that time, when the other 7 sects of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain join hands to suppress the Qin clan, it will be an even bigger problem. As soon as these words were spoken, the complexion of everyone in the Qin clan changed drastically. Clearly, through the words of Qin Wushuang, everyone felt this matter was not impossible. With the Heavenly Emperor Gate's vigilance to the Qin clan, they could do it 100%. Not to mention, now that the Qin clan had acquired the Supreme Tao Fruit, the Heavenly Emperor Gate would be even more jealous. For the Supreme Tao Fruit, the Heavenly Emperor Gate would do it. Honored warrior Ji Song swore, "Darn it, Xan clan, this way, we are not rats in the bellows. Regardless of where we go, there will be a lot of trouble. If we go, it's a trap. If we don't go, we will give them something to talk about." Everyone felt as if a giant stone was pressing down on their hearts, as they felt incredibly depressed. All of them looked at the 2 great chiefs, for clearly, they wanted to see their answers. Qin Chongyang said with a low voice, "Everyone, regardless of how we deal with it, I will repeat it again. In the next 3 to 5 years, the Qin clan will be in an incredibly difficult situation. Everyone must be prepared for a tough battle. Perhaps this move from the Heavenly Emperor Gate will be the start of the Great War. Let's fight. Humph humph, what is the Xian clan? In terms of foundation, they are not even worthy to carry the shoes of the Qin clan. Yes, we're not afraid of them. In the worst case, let's fight." For the people of the Qin clan, regardless of their age, they all had a backbone. Especially to the Heavenly Emperor Xian clan. They had a form of unwillingness to submit to the rule. It would have been all right if the Yun clan was in charge of the Heavenly Emperor's seat. The Qin and Yun clan were all old sections. They respected each other and did not have much to say. However, the Xian clan just happened to run into great luck when the Qin and Yun clan were at their lowest point. Deep in their bones, the disciples of the Qin clan had a form of rebellious mentality towards the Heavenly Emperor Gate. Especially when the Heavenly Emperor Gate bullied them intolerably. It had stimulated their intention to resist. The Xian clan was not the totem clan. Why should they be afraid of them? Qin Chongyang intended to nurture Qin Wushuang as he asked again. "Wushuang, what do you think?" Qin Wushuang said, "With the Xian clan this way, I am afraid a great war is unavoidable. For the Qin clan, what we need to do now is to strive to face fewer enemies. We must not give the Xian clan an excuse to entangle the other 6 sects to deal with us together. To put it bluntly, the powerhouses that are at odds with the Qin clan are the Xian clan, the Heavenly Punishing Villa, the Sound of Thunder sect, and the Heavenly Luo Taoist sect that is on the verge of collapse. Certainly the other powerhouses will not want to wallow in the mire with the Xian clan. After all, if they attack the Qin clan today, most likely they will attack them tomorrow. Yes, now, the problem is how to strive to prevent the other neutral sect from getting involved." Qin Chongyang blinked his eyes and tested Qin Wushuang again. "We must go, and it must be someone who can control the scene, someone who can come and go as they please. This person must be the head chief. With the despicable nature of the Xian clan, if the rest of us go, certainly we will be surrounded and attacked by them. By that time, we will suffer heavy losses and be in a state of chaos. It will cause our deployment to be completely out of order." Qin Wushuang said eloquently, "If it's just the head chief going, I am afraid it will not work. It's because the Heavenly Emperor Gate has appointed me and senior brother Taichung. Therefore, I'm willing to go with the head chief. You are going? Qin Shongyang had a trace of doubt. I am the person involved. If I don't go, the Xian clan will also accuse us of having a guilty conscience. Only I will go and confront them face to face. Only then can I dispel the doubts of the other neutral sections. Plus, with the power of the head chief, I will intimidate them. Even if the other sects are forced to send out troops, certainly they will not exert themselves. This is crucial to the Qin clan. Qin Shongyang and Qin Yunran exchanged a glance, for they were incredibly satisfied. Besides the fact that Qin Wushuang was going for the other issues, these two chiefs had the same opinion as Qin Wushuang. They also felt that only the head sect master would be able to deal with that kind of situation. Sweeping across the entire scene, Qin Shongyang asked with an indifferent tone, "Everyone, do you have a better idea?" Everyone looked at each other and shook their heads. Even Ji Huai, who never liked Qin Wushuang, must admit that Qin Wushuang's idea was indeed the most appropriate and the only choice. Vividly, Qin Wushuang's position at the Qin clan had risen with the tide and reached a height on par with many honored warriors. Like a spring, Qin Yunran sprung up from his seat and shouted, everyone get ready. Starting from tomorrow, the aspiring throne mountain will implement martial law and enter a state of preparation for war. All defenses will be activated at each stronghold pass. For those disciples that are outside, those that can make it back tonight will all do so. Those that cannot make it back will all hide in different branches. The seniors of each house will be in charge of counting and notifying them. Whether the Qin clan will rise again or fall, it will depend on this battle. Qin Shongyang also encouraged them. Everyone, the tens and thousands of years of inheritance and glory of the Qin clan will depend on our performance in this battle. Perhaps many of us will pay the price with our lives in this battle. However, the rise of a sect is always driven by the lives and blood of many of our clansmen. Since fate and fortune have given you and me this responsibility for this battle, let us give it our all. We will fight to the death to defend the Qin clan. We will fight to the death. Now, all disciples of the Qin clan had the same expression. It was solemn and stirring, yet there was a form of indescribable determination. The tens and thousands of years of inheritance had given them no reason to shirk their responsibility. The Qin clan was worthy for everyone to entrust their lives to. It was worthy for everyone to lay down their heads and shed their blood for them. The heroic souls in the sacrificial valley would never be lonely and would not be forgotten by the future generations. Fight! Since powerful enemies had come to bully them, they could only fight to the death to create a bright future. To the Qin clan, shrinking back and surrendering were more unacceptable than death. The glory and inheritance of the Qin clan surpassed personal life and death. Qin Wushuang clenched his fists lightly, and endless murderous intentions flashed across his eyes. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.qijian.com. More chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 710. The valley at dusk appeared exceptionally bleak and desolate. Qin Wushuang and Murong Su stood hand in hand. Murong Su leaned lightly on Qin Wushuang's broad shoulder and said with a gentle voice, "Brother Qin, don't think too much. The Heavenly Emperor Gate bullies people with their power. Being a sect that has been passed down for tens and thousands of years, the Qin clan must have some foundation." Qin Wushuang gave a light sigh. "Su'er, I'm only lamenting, am I too easygoing and lacking in aggressiveness? Ever since I stepped onto the path of martial arts, I've always been oppressed, resisted, oppressed again, and resisted again. Along the way, if people did not offend me, I would not offend them. However, such way of doing things, in this world where everyone is like a wolf, I will only be bullied." When Qin Wushuang said this, a trace of ruthlessness flashed across his eyes. He had to reflect that perhaps such way of doing things could win some extra respect. However, this was definitely indulging the enemy and allowing them to become even more arrogant. When Murong Su saw Qin Wushuang's eyes that were like an injured wolf, her heart thumped. She comforted him. "Brother Qin, when your strength is enough to intimidate those rascals, I believe you will not have so many worries." Qin Wushuang gave a helpless sigh. For something like strength, there is no end. Even if the problem of the Xian clan is solved, there is still the stronger totem clan. Above the totem clan, perhaps there are even stronger ones. "Su'er, I am thinking, should I be someone that makes others fear me? When I mention the name Qin Wushuang, I get a headache. Can't you think of going against me? Perhaps this way, there will be less trouble, right?" Murong Su pursed her lips into a smile. "Brother Qin, can you learn that fiendish appearance?" Qin Wushuang said coldly. "Let's try." Murong Su's delicate body trembled slightly. She moved her beautiful thin lips, yet in the end, she did not persuade him. Inwardly, Murong Su knew that Brother Qin's words made sense. "Sir, this battle might drag your floating snow house into it. Will you blame me?" Murong Su said softly, "Big Brother Qin, is there still a need to say between you and me now? I'm only worried about you. I'm worried that the Xian family will target you." Qin Wushuang smiled faintly, but his eyes were calm and unperturbed. An incomparably strong self-confidence was emitted from his angular features. "Xian clan, I will make them regret, definitely." Qin Wushuang's gaze was determined as he looked to the southeast direction, where the Heavenly Emperor Xian clan was located. "Big Brother Qin." Murong Su tightly held onto Qin Wushuang's arm. At this moment, this strong arm was her most reliable home. "Su'er, wait for me at the aspiring throne mountain." Lord Murong invited him to return to the floating snow house. For the great battle of the Qin clan, the chief means to not get involved with the floating snow house for now to avoid accidental injuries. "All right, I will listen to Big Brother Qin." Murong Su nodded and rolled her beautiful eyes as she looked at Qin Wushuang with determination. "I will wait for you at the aspiring throne mountain." Early in the morning, Qin Wushuang was already waiting at the entrance of the upright morality hall. Qin Xiaotian, the head chief of the Qin clan, had come out of solitary training ahead of time and arrived swiftly. This was also Qin Wushuang's first time seeing this legendary head chief. Initially, he thought that the head chief with an aged voice must be an elder with an immortal temperament. With one look, he realized that he had purely misunderstood. This head chief Qin Xiaotian had an abnormally tall figure. With a pair of eagle eyes and an aquiline nose, he appeared even more astonishing. His entire person gave off a form of explosive temperament that made it difficult for a group of juniors to breathe normally. "It's an honor to meet you, head chief." "Haha, good. Everyone go in." Qin Xiaotian walked into the upright morality hall in large strides like a dragon or a tiger. He swept across the front of everyone with an indifferent gaze. Qin Xiaotian revealed a light smile and spoke. "That's right. After 200 years of solitary training, many new faces have emerged and many old faces have been lost. This is good. When 1,000 coffins are carried out, their family is prosperous. Our Qin clan has stayed at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain for tens and thousands of years. We have encountered countless bumps and bumps, wind and rain. Didn't the Qin clan make it through even more terrifying disasters? In order to protect the name of the Qin clan, the ancestors of the Qin clan sent thousands and thousands of heroic spirits to sleep at the sacrificial valley. Now it's in our hands. How can we bear to see the foundation of the Qin clan collapse? If the blood of the Qin clan is still warm in your bones, if your blood is still boiling, throw away all concerns and fight." The words of the head chief did not deliberately embellish the atmosphere. However, it caused each person to feel strangely gripped. Again, the blood in their entire body boiled. Qin Xiaotian did not speak much as he stopped to look at the other two chiefs. "Yinran, Chongyang, you will be in charge of the aspiring throne mountain. I will take Qin Wushuang there. Let's see if this dragon's pool and tiger's den can keep me here." After he had finished speaking, Qin Xiaotian fixed his gaze on Qin Wushuang and asked leisurely, "Little one, are you scared?" Qin Wushuang laughed leisurely. Since Wushuang stepped onto the path of martial arts, I have experienced more than 10 life and death situations. I don't know what fear is. I see the little Exan clan as grass. Why should I be scared of him? Good. Haha. No wonder you are the ordeal champion. Qin Shaotian laughed. Did you all hear that? Qin Wushuang, a young man of 20 years old, is still this calm and composed. Don't lose to him. Head chief, please rest assured. I wish you a great victory. Qin Shaotian laughed and set up a ball of cloud to lift Qin Wushuang up lightly. Let's go. Supported by this cloud, Qin Wushuang flew out of the upright morality hall directly. Like an arrow, he shot towards the southeast direction like a rainbow. His speed was as fast as a shooting star chasing after the moon. After an hour, Qin Shaotian opened his eyes wide and said in a low voice, "Let's go down, we are here." Before the divine palace of the Heavenly Emperor Gate, suddenly Exantian's gaze moved as he revealed a look of ecstasy. As he looked at the people coming from the sky, he knew that people of the Qin clan had arrived. Inwardly, he was incredibly proud. Good, today I will not let you leave. As the cloud dropped and the mist gathered, Qin Wushuang walked out. Next to him, Qin Wushuang shot an indifferent glance at Exantian, and a trace of a cold sneer hung from the corner of his mouth. Such meaningful look made Exantian feel shocked inwardly. When he looked at Qin Shaotian again, he felt he looked familiar. Suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. Wasn't this the head chief of the Qin clan? Where's brother Tianwen? Qin Shaotian shot an indifferent glance at Exantian. The light of ridicule from his eyes was clearly saying that Exantian was not qualified to welcome him here. Ha ha! The Heavenly Emperor is already waiting inside the Divine Palace. Head Chief Qin, please. Wushuang, let's go in. There is no good banquet. You must experience it well. Ha ha ha! Qin Shaotian was startled. Exantian's heart skipped a beat. Vividly, he felt something was wrong. Qin Wushuang did not conceal his ridicule at all as he smiled lightly at Exantian. Chief Tianchen, I trust you have been well since we last met. Although Exantian was full of smiles, inwardly he thought viciously, Kid, I will let you be arrogant for a while. In a moment, I will make you cry without tears. Inside the Heavenly Emperor Divine Palace, the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates were all in place. Qin Shaotian found the seat of the Qin clan and sat down boldly. He called to Qin Wushuang and said, Wushuang, sit. The Heavenly Emperor 8 gates included the Heavenly Emperor Exian clan, the Qin clan, the Yun clan, the Heavenly Punishing Villa, the Sound of Thunder sect, the Thousand Feather sect, the Mysterious Reform Gate, and the 100 Lane clan. Qin Shaotian let out a cold sneer and glanced across the faces of the leaders of the other sections. He twitched the corner of his mouth and mumbled to himself. After a few hundred years, it seems there are some new faces. Heavenly Emperor Exantian laughed in high and vigorous spirits. Brother Shaotian, I didn't expect that you would step out. It's rare. I thought that you would not step into my Heavenly Emperor Divine Palace. Ha ha ha. Qin Shaotian said lightly. Brother Tianwen, it's rare for you to think about the Qin clan and hold a celebratory feast for us. If I don't come, wouldn't I be letting down your efforts? No one at the scene was an idiot as they could sense a trace of strangeness. Apart from the people who were involved in this scheme, everyone else had similar thoughts. They didn't want to get involved, so they didn't want to be implicated and get into trouble. Indeed, Qin Shaotian stepping out was a chess piece they had never thought of. This made everyone at the Heavenly Emperor Gate feel somewhat at a loss. Exantian remained calm and collected. All right, Brother Shaotian, today I called everyone here for one reason, to see the charm of the supreme Tao fruit. Secondly, there are some matters that I must ask everyone to consider together. Qin Shaotian was rather straightforward. Supreme Tao fruit? I must say, Your Majesty, you informed us too late. The day Yunran and the others returned, the supreme Tao fruit was given to those honored warriors who worked hard. The 3 supreme Tao fruits have already been distributed. I am afraid they are already refining them. It's too late for everyone to see. Exantian's complexion changed slightly. It was distributed this quickly. He felt it was not believable, yet he could not find any flaws. He gave a slight sneer. That's not right. According to my information, this time the Qin clan acquired 5 supreme Dao fruits. Even if 3 were distributed, there should be 2 left. Qin Xiaotian said with an indifferent tone, Certainly, I know the most about my own matters. Additionally, even if there were 5, they would have been distributed. The supreme Dao fruit will never be enough. How could there be more? Xian Tianwen was rendered speechless by Qin Xiaotian's words. Inwardly, he became annoyed. Anger kept scuttling up as he said coldly, This way, everyone will not see the supreme Dao fruit today. If your majesty has the supreme Dao fruit, why don't you take it out and broaden our horizons? I heard that Xian Wuji of your sect seized 2 supreme Dao fruits and escaped back to the Heavenly Emperor Mountain with a fake death technique. If the rumor is true, your majesty should have 2 supreme Dao fruits. Qin Wushuang could not refrain from being amused by the accusation. The words of this head chief were sharp. Turning the tables and gaining the initiative by striking first, such style was what Qin Wushuang lacked. He would not take a beating passively, but take the initiative to attack. Under the passive situation, he would grasp all the initiative. Xian Tan one revealed an ashen complexion as he said angrily, Qin Xiaotian, are you sincerely making a false countercharge? Anyways, since you mentioned this matter, I'm going to settle a score with the Qin clan. Tianchun, you speak. A trace of pride flashed across Xian Tianchun's eyes. He stood at the front and said with a clear voice, Everyone, initially before heading to the Illusion Heavenly Lake, the Heavenly Emperor summoned all sects and made a 3-point agreement. Does everyone remember this matter? Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Of course we will not forget this matter. Some people agreed, while others remained silent. Xian Tianchun said again. However, this Qin clan went against the Heavenly Emperor's order. Before they arrived at the Karakoram Immortal Clan, they made a move on their own people. Xian Wuji of the Heavenly Emperor Gate, Yin Qinsui of the Heavenly Punishing Villa, and Lei Hong of the Sound of Thunder sect were all plotted against by this Qin Wushuang. Everyone, tell me, this Qin clan openly challenged the authority of the Heavenly Emperor and killed people of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. What crime should they commit? It's here. The true face of the Xian clan was finally torn apart. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chijian.com. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 711. Qin Xiaotian was strangely calm. He only listened with a cold sneer, as if he was listening to something unrelated to his family. His expression was indifferent. That's right. It's outrageous for the Qin clan to be this tyrannical. My Heavenly Punishing Villa will be the first to not tolerate them. Your Majesty, please uphold justice for the Heavenly Punishing Villa. Yin Guinan walked out and knelt down on one knee at the Heavenly Emperor. My Sound of Thunder sect also asked for your Majesty to uphold justice. Lei Ming was not to be outdone. Xian Tianchun glared at the Qin clan with a cold gaze. Qin Wushuang, on that day at the 10,000 Flower Valley, in order to seize that supreme Dao fruit, you attacked fellow Daoists of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. There were countless witnesses. That day at the Karakoram Immortal Clan, you relied on someone to testify for you and escaped the calamity. Today, I want to see how you will deny it. Qin Xiaotian gave a cold sneer and ignored Xian Tianchun's pretentious actions. Instead, he looked at Xian Tongwen leisurely and asked with an indifferent tone, Your Majesty, for all these years, your Xian clan has held back. When you saw the Qin clan acquired a few supreme Dao fruits, you could not hold back your anger. I am afraid it's a sore point for you to make a move against the Qin clan, right? If you want to make a move, why do you need to find so many reasons to stir up those cold rice? What is the strength of Qin Wushuang? When he departed, he was about the perfect void martial stage. What is Xian Wuji's strength? He is the number 1 beneath the supreme Dao stage. Not to mention, Xian Wuji has other followers. With Qin Wushuang's power, how could he kill 4 or 5 of them? Are you insulting the intelligence of everyone at the scene? Wushuang, speak, Qin Xiaodian shouted. Qin Wushuang revealed a light smile and walked forward with ease. Initially, I already explained this matter clearly at the Karakoram Immortal Clan. It's beneath my dignity to speak a second time. However, since your majesty wants to hear it, I will state it again. Yin Qiansui, Lei Hong, and that Xian Wuong were swallowed by the divine beast. Xian Wuji chased after me and was killed by my counterattack. This is true. In terms of violating the agreement, it's Xian Wuji and not me, Qin Wushuang. Of course, since your majesty gathered all these people to question the Qin clan, of course you relied on your ability to influence the public opinion of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. Even if the Qin clan had tongues all over our bodies, I am afraid we would not be able to understand this principle. Qin Xiaodian let out a long laugh and said with an imposing manner, Your Majesty, regardless of how the Qin clan acts, we dare to take responsibility for our actions. Since Xian Wuji was killed by Wushuang, it would not matter if he admitted it. If you want to use other people's death to frame the Qin clan and splash dirty water on us, the Qin clan would not be afraid. Justice is in everyone's heart, Xian Tianwen said with a cold sneer. You two are rather eloquent. Regardless of whether you admit it or not, don't even think about leaving the matter at that. Everyone, per the rules of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain, those who do not respect the orders of the Heavenly Emperor, the entire sect will attack you. Everyone, since you are not on the same side as the Qin clan, of course you will not be bewitched by them. How should we deal with today's matter? Xian Tianwen asked with dignity. His aura was activated, suppressing the other neutral sections. For a moment, the atmosphere was tense. The Heavenly Punishing Villa and the Sound of Thunder sect seized the opportunity to jeer. The Qin clan should be executed. If the Qin clan is not taken out, the Heavenly Emperor Mountain will never have a peaceful day. Your Majesty, please give the order. The four Supreme Tao elite warriors of the Heavenly Punishing Villa and the Sound of Thunder sect all stood up. They formed a horn formation and surrounded Qin Xiaotian. The leaders of the other sects looked at each other in dismay. For the Yin clan, Yin Xuechen shot a meaningful glance at the people of the Xian clan. He stood up lightly and said, Your Majesty, Head Chief Qin, this is an old grudge between your sects. The Yin clan does not want to get involved. Regardless of which party, don't think about dragging the Yin clan into the water. Whoever forces the Yin clan into the water, most likely the Yin clan will join the other side in a fit of anger. Therefore, the Yin clan is neutral. As soon as Yin Xuechen spoke, the mysterious Reform Gate, the 100 Lane clan, and the 1,000 Feather sect all expressed their stance. Yes, we are neutral. Your Majesty, we did not see the truth with our own eyes, so we would not dare to make a judgment. Please allow the mysterious Reform Gate to be neutral. Your Majesty, the 100 Lane clan has always kept ourselves clean and honest. We do not wish to get involved with those boring quarrels. We are also neutral. The 1,000 Feather sect is also neutral. If the Yin clan had not taken the lead to call for neutrality, most likely those three powerhouses would not have dared to call for neutrality. However, since the Yin clan had called for neutrality, they could follow suit and call for neutrality. After all, since the Heavenly Emperor Gate did not dare to force the Yin clan, naturally they could not force them. Or else, if these three sects had joined hands and turned to the Qin clan, it would be disadvantageous to the Heavenly Emperor Gate. Even if they did not turn to the Qin clan and united next to the Yin clan, the four sects could definitely embarrass the Heavenly Emperor Gate. Therefore, now they had the capital to be neutral. Qin Xiaodian roared with laughter. Xian Tianwen, you have overestimated the rallying power of your Xian clan. Xian Tianwen shouted, activate the defenses of the Divine Palace. All unrelated people, stay where you are, or else do not blame the defenses for injuring you. Qin Xiaodian roared with laughter. Suddenly, he urged his body and transformed into bursts of afterimages. As fast as a ghost, He rolled up a tornado-like, imposing manner to wrap Qin Wushuang to escape outside. He gave a long whistle. Xian Tianwen, if you're going to make a move, I will wait for you at the aspiring throne mountain. While he spoke, he already dashed to the entrance of the divine palace. At this moment, a burst of golden light covered the entrance of the divine palace all of a sudden. It pressed down Qin Xiaoyan's figure. Boom! When this golden light pressed down, it crushed Qin Xiaoyan into pieces. Just when everyone was dumbstruck, Qin Xiaoyan's long whistle emerged again. Bursts of illusory figures kept flashing in the sky, as if the wind was sweeping away the clouds. Bursts of magical shadows made it seem as if thousands and tens of thousands of Qin Xiaoyan were dancing in the divine palace. Suddenly, Qin Xiaoyan gave a loud shout and grabbed with his palm. A long spear spat out a poisonous tongue like lightning and shot directly at the golden light at the entrance. Open! Although that golden light was tyrannical, when urged by this lightning, instantly a gap was opened. With a roll, Qin Xiaoyan's figure already floated outside the door. Qin Wushuang only felt his entire body relaxed as he was sent out a few miles by Qin Xiaoyan. Wushuang, go back first. Qin Wushuang urged the purple cloud in yang wings and urged his aura abruptly. With a graceful spiritual bow in his hand, he laughed. Head Chief, Wushuang will fight the enemy side by side with you. The shooting sun arrows emitted dazzling golden lights, and he already knocked the graceful spiritual bow. Instantly, Qin Wushuang urged the supreme Tao presence from his entire body to the extreme without limit. Although this supreme Tao presence did not come from his own cultivation, but from the baptism of the divine light, as soon as he urged this power, it actually made the graceful spiritual bow cry endlessly. It was as if this supreme Tao presence was a natural match with the graceful spiritual bow and the shooting sun arrows as it emitted a monstrous resonance. Instantly, Qin Wushuang's power seemed to have increased by 100 times as he locked his gaze on a supreme Tao elite warrior that dashed out of the door. That was Lei Ming of the Sound of Thunder Sect. Shoot! Shoot him to death! Inside Qin Wushuang's heart, a domineering voice kept roaring. It was as if a demon sleeping in Qin Wushuang's heart had awakened, and awakened Qin Wushuang's boundless killing intent. Kill, kill, kill. At this very moment, Qin Wushuang actually had an extremely paranoid thought, which was to shoot that Lei Ming to death with one arrow. This intense thought drove Qin Wushuang's eyes to turn red. He urged the purple cloud in yang wings and flew back like a rainbow piercing the sun. The graceful spiritual bow and his body had combined to a perfect degree. In the process of flying, he knocked the bow and shot the arrow. This was the first time Qin Wushuang used the graceful spiritual bow and the shooting sun arrows together. It was also the first time the shooting sun arrows met the graceful spiritual bow after thousands of years. The powerful ancient presence caused the power of the graceful spiritual bow to increase by 1,000 times in an instant. It was as if an enraged ancient divine beast was wreaking havoc and savagery. Whoosh! The shooting sun arrows transformed into golden lights that filled the sky. Like a meteor falling from the sky, they shot towards the direction of Lei Ming with an unparalleled speed. The golden lights transformed into a beautiful arch bridge that filled the sky. Boom! Almost unstoppable and uncontrollable, the golden lights crashed before Lei Ming. Initially, Lei Ming did not put Qin Wushuang in his eyes. He only wanted to capture Qin Wushuang and bring him to justice. Unexpectedly, when this golden light shot out, it contained such a powerful attack. It was incomparable to the rumors. Oh no! An ominous thought flashed across Lei Ming's mind. At the same time, the pupils of Heavenly Emperor Xian Tianwen also shrunk rapidly. The graceful spiritual bow, that was right. However, the graceful spiritual bow had the original shooting sun arrows. This was not in the information. Didn't they say that the shooting sun arrows were already acquired by the Xianyuan clan? What was going on? Xian Tianwen's mind was filled with questions. Just when he was about to shout at Lei Ming to retreat, a golden light flashed across his eyes. In the blink of an eye, as the golden lights shot out, it penetrated Lei Ming's chest directly. The supreme Tao armor emitted a miserable cracking sound. With a cracking sound, the shooting sun arrows penetrated through it. With the tyrannical power of the shooting sun arrows, as soon as it pierced through the supreme Tao armor, naturally it hit the vital part in the Dantian. Boom! Instantly, his body exploded into pieces. Lei Ming gave a miserable cry. His divine soul scuttled and wanted to escape from his body. Unexpectedly, the shooting sun arrows possessed endless power. Since ancient times, they had killed countless supreme Tao elite warriors. They were greedy for the divine souls of supreme Tao elite warriors. Without stopping, the remaining power followed the direction of the divine soul and hit it with a loud bang. As the golden lights exploded, the divine soul had nowhere to escape and was directly shot by the shooting sun arrows. Lei Ming's divine soul let out a miserable cry. Roar! Within 1,000 miles of the Heavenly Emperor Gate, this miserable cry echoed in waves. The divine soul collapsed and exploded. Lei Ming was dead. Qin Wushuang made a move with a graceful spiritual bow. Like a spiritual beast, the shooting sun arrows flew back spiritually and fell into Qin Wushuang's hands. This attack also damaged the shooting sun arrow's vitality greatly and exhausted its spiritual power. Lying quietly in Qin Wushuang's hands, the light flashed and dimmed. It was extremely strange. Qin Wushuang knew that this shooting sun arrows was also a spiritual object and needed time to recover. Second brother, Lei Yu cried out in pain. With red eyes, he wanted to come over and kill Qin Wushuang. Lei Ming and Yin Guinan were only at the 4th or 5th calamity of the coagulate supreme Tao stage. They were inferior to Qin Chongyang. Plus Qin Wushuang's arrow was extremely sudden, and Lei Ming had underestimated the enemy. He had attracted this fatal disaster. However, Lei Yu was not ordinary. He was a transformation supreme Tao elite warrior. He urged his aura and went to kill Qin Wushuang. Qin Wushuang congealed his spirit and planned to exchange blows with Xian Tianwen. When he saw Lei Yu dashing towards Qin Wushuang, he transformed into a meteoric light and blocked Lei Yu's charging path. With a cold sneer, he gave a slap. At the same time, he flicked his left sleeve and shouted at Qin Wushuang, "Go!" Involuntarily, Qin Wushuang was swept by this supreme Tao astral wind. The purple cloud yin-yang wings sped towards the direction of the aspiring throne mountain. To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please log on to www.chidian.com. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 712. In fact, Qin Xiaoyan's slap was an empty one. His intention was clear. He wanted to force Lei Yu to retreat. To take revenge for Lei Ming, Lei Yu almost went crazy. When he got hit by Qin Xiaoyan's power, all of a sudden, instantly he felt as if he was in a vast ocean. His entire body seemed to get rolled into a strange and powerful whirlpool as he could not move forward or backward. Xian Tianwen saw the opportunity quickly as he dashed forward and flicked his sleeve rapidly. The flowing cloud swept to crash into Qin Xiaoyan's whirlpool of airflow. Suddenly, Lei Yu's body shot out and scuttled out from a gap between the two bursts of airflow. When he looked again, Qin Wushuang was already far away and only an almost invisible black dot remained. With Lei Yu's power at the Transformation Supreme Tao stage, he could only see a black dot. It meant that this Qin Wushuang had walked far away. Qin Xiaodian was confident and at ease. Moving alone, he raised his hand casually and a burst of dragon-like, imposing manner gushed out. Winding and spiraling in the sky, it rolled towards Xian Tianwen. He gave a long whistle. Xian Tianwen, today you have more people. I will wait for you at the aspiring throne mountain. For one-on-one, I will keep you company at any time. For a group fight, since you have more people, I will not keep you company." After he finished speaking, he gave a long whistle, and his figure already escaped far away like a ghost. The long howls were like landslides and tsunamis, continuous and incessant. For the personal grudge between the Exian clan and the Qin clan, if anyone dares to step out forcefully and threaten the foundation of the Qin clan, I will kill them all. I, Qin Shoutian, will definitely exterminate his entire clan. I'm not lying. Threatening and intimidating. These are the effects that Qin Shoutian wanted. Qin Shoutian also knew that the situation was difficult, yet he always maintained a domineering attitude. Plus, with the tens and thousands of years of inheritance and prestige of the Qin clan, it would be enough to intimidate others to a certain extent. Indeed, Qin Shoutian's last words made those neutral powerhouses surge with emotions. Secretly, they all made up their minds to not get dragged down by the Exian clan. Expressionless, Exian Tianwen emitted divine lights from his body. Like a celestial god, he stood in the high sky and glared at Qin Shoutian's departing figure coldly. Inwardly, he felt a perilous situation. Exian Tianwen thought that after he passed the ninth calamity of the Transformation Supreme Dao stage, he could sweep away the Qin clan when he was at the genuine Supreme Dao stage. Unexpectedly, after not seeing each other for a few hundred years, Qin Shoutian had actually also broken through the 9 tribulations. He also had the cultivation of the true Supreme Dao stage. Indeed, this Qin clan was a centipede that would not fall down even after death. Even though it was at its lowest point, it still had such a strong vitality. If he were to sit and wait for the Qin clan to grow, how could the Exian clan have a place among the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates? Your Majesty, Your Majesty. Everyone surrounded him and crawled before Exian Tianwen's feet. Your Majesty, please uphold justice for the sound of thunder sect. Lei Yu gritted his teeth, and murderous intentions filled his eyes. At this moment, his hatred towards the Qin clan had reached the extent of penetrating his bones. The death of a deity realm powerhouse. This was an enormous blow to any sect, an irreparable loss. Return to the divine palace first. Exian Tianwen waved his hand and instructed with a stern expression. When they returned to the Heavenly Emperor Divine Palace, Exian Tianwen's Heavenly Emperor aura did not disappear in the end. On the contrary, it showed signs of intensifying. Those neutral sects were also on tenterhooks. Besides the Yun clan that was rather calm, the other sects were worried about personal gains and losses. They were worried that the Exian clan would forcefully invite them into the trap. Initially, they had made up their minds to not participate. However, before the Heavenly Emperor's aura, they were afraid of losing their position. Once they got involved in this quarrel, it would be fine if they destroyed the Qin clan. In case they did not destroy the Qin clan and allowed the Qin clan to regain their senses, they would not have an easy time. Clearly, the words spoken by Qin Shoutian before he left were not empty words to threaten them. Besides the Yun clan, for an elite warrior that could fight against the Heavenly Emperor, the other 3 neutral sects truly did not have the capital to resist. Exian Tianwen's gaze was swift and fierce like a sharp blade. The sharp edge of the blade scraped across everyone's face. Everyone has already seen the rebellion of the Qin clan with your own eyes. The situation at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain will either collapse or walk out of the predicament. Everyone, being one of the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates, you have enjoyed the best territory and the best resources. At this moment, it's time for you to exert your strength. Whoever slacks off, you will end your own life at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. Such a big hat. The implied meaning was clear. Would you dare to not go? If you did not go, you would be slacking off and ending your own life at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. As soon as Exian Tianwen spoke these words, besides the Yun clan, the complexion of the other 3 neutral sects darkened. Their hearts were pounding. Exian Tianwen fixed his gaze at Yun Shuechen of the Yun clan and asked with an indifferent tone, Chief Shuechen, does your Yun clan truly plan to play wise and protect yourselves? Yun Shuechen still revealed a carefree expression. Although the aura of the Heavenly Emperor made him feel incredibly uncomfortable, he knew clearly that this was definitely not the time to express his stance. Your Majesty, the Heavenly Emperor, the right and wrong here are just one-sided statements from both sides. I know that I cannot distinguish it clearly. Under such circumstances, if the Yun clan were to target either side, it would go against the purpose of the Yun clan. Your Majesty, if we were to go on a punitive expedition, the Yun clan is willing to be the vanguard. For such an unclear battle, before the matter is clear, the Yun clan does not wish to fall into it. Please understand, Your Majesty. Again, please do not push the Yun clan into the camp of the Qin clan. Yin Xuechen's words were sharp, and he did not shrink back. With the foundation of the Yun clan, he was also qualified to speak such words. His meaning was clear. If the Xian clan forced the Yun clan to fall into it, most likely the Yun clan would turn to the Qin clan. Once the Yun clan and the Qin clan joined hands, the consequences would be terrifying. Even the Heavenly Emperor Xian clan would not be able to bear it. Xian Tianwen was furious inwardly. He never expected that this Yin Xuechen would be this stubborn. Anger burned inside his heart, yet in the end he restrained it. He gave a cold sneer. All right, in this case, your Yin clan will play the role of a bystander. What do you guys plan to do? With a cold gaze, he looked at the leaders of the other three sections. Your Majesty, the Thousand Feather sect is on the same side as the Yun clan. Your Majesty, I am sorry. The 100 Lane clan is weak. We cannot afford internal friction. Your Majesty, Exantonwen laughed despite his extreme anger. Good. It seems that my Heavenly Emperor status is only a name in your eyes. Very good. Everyone, I hope you will not regret today's choice in the future. After he finished speaking, he swept his sleeve. Tianshun, prepare the genuine divine 6 weapons for me. Genuine divine 6 weapons? When everyone heard these words, their hearts trembled. The genuine divine 6 weapons were 6 weapons. Specifically, they were 6 divine weapons at the genuine supreme Dao stage. The 6 weapons could be separated or combined to form a combination attack. The power would be astonishing. Even for the totem powerhouses, they must admit the powerful power of these genuine divine 6 weapons. When they used the genuine divine 6 weapons, it was enough to see that the Heavenly Emperor Xian clan was serious. This battle had already reached an unsalvageable stage. Instantly, the Xian clan had used their greatest trump card, the genuine divine 6 weapons. Everyone else, prepare to gather the elite of each sect and follow me to the aspiring throne mountain. Heavenly Emperor Xian Tianwen swept across the entire scene with a cold gaze. Everyone, by the way, for this expedition, I have received permission from the Totem Elite Warriors. You think yourselves smart and fear the Qin clan, yet you do not understand the current situation. I hope you will not regret it by that time. Xian Tianwen roared with laughter. As soon as he finished speaking these words, the entire body of the Thousand Feather sect and the other 2 sects trembled. The Totem Elite Warriors supported the Xian clan's actions. This way, wouldn't the Qin clan be finished? Instantly, the leaders of these 3 sects became somewhat hesitant. Yin Xuechen revealed a slight smile. Your Majesty, the Yun clan will not accompany you. We will take our leave first. After all, the Yun clan had a foundation and they had their own opinions. Naturally, they would not change their stance with just one word from Xian Tianwen. The remaining 3 sects thought left and right and exchanged glances. Fear flashed across their eyes. In the end, the 3 of them understood tacitly and walked before Xian Tianwen. They knelt down on one knee. We are willing to listen to your orders, Your Majesty. Xian Tianwen laughed madly. Great. If you know your mistakes and can correct them, I will let bygones be bygones. The Heavenly Emperor Xian clan, in the name of the Heavenly Emperor Gate, send out a punitive expedition order. For those who follow us, after we break the Qin clan, everyone will be rewarded. Mighty Heavenly Emperor, Mighty Heavenly Emperor. For a time, flattery rolled in. The other 5 sects all bowed down. I will give you half a day to bring the elite of your sex to gather here. As for who will contribute more and who will contribute less, I will make my judgment. By that time, rewards and punishments will be clear, and there will be no lies. Go. Under the Heavenly Emperor's order, all of them were dismissed and mobilized. On the other hand, as fast as lightning, Qin Xiaodian caught up to Qin Wushuang. He roared with laughter. Good job, Wushuang, good shot. For this battle, you have made the first contribution. At this moment, Qin Wushuang also regained his senses from his impulse a moment ago. He said with a bitter smile, Head Chief, that arrow a moment ago was also a fluke. If it were any other time, if that Lei Ming was on guard against me, with my current strength, it would be difficult to shoot him to death. Ha! Perhaps today it's indeed difficult for you to kill elite warriors of the Supreme Tao stage. However, I firmly believe that if you're given time to grow, in the future when you achieve great success, certainly it will be as easy as picking up grass to kill a Supreme Tao warrior. Let's go. Let's return to the aspiring Throne Mountain. Inside the aspiring Throne Mountain, everyone from the Qin clan revealed a grave expression. They raised their heads and waited for the return of the head chief and Qin Wushuang. Morong Su was also among them. Although she appeared incredibly calm on the surface, the worry inside her heart could not help but flow out unconsciously. At this moment, Qin Yunran's brows moved as he roared with laughter. They are back. The head chief and the others are back. Everyone immediately looked up. From the clouds in the sky, two figures dropped to the aspiring Throne Mountain at a shocking speed. The moment head sect leader Qin Xiaodian landed, he ordered, Activate all the restrictive mechanisms. Yes, Qin Xiaodian faced everyone's ardent gaze and only said lightly, Everyone, get ready for battle. Without any superfluous words, just a few simple words made everyone immediately feel the sense of crisis of life and death. Fight! Fight! Everyone revealed a determined gaze and did not shrink back in the slightest. Qin Chongyang said, Everyone, enter the upright morality hall to discuss matters. Each of you have your own responsibilities. Inside the upright morality hall, the atmosphere was incredibly solemn. Although everyone was already prepared to fight to the death, everyone knew that this battle would definitely be difficult. It would definitely be the most difficult battle in everyone's lifetime. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chijian.com. More chapters, support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 713. The map of the aspiring Throne Mountain was unfolded completely. All mechanisms and defenses were clearly marked. Qin Xiaodian said, Everyone, for this battle, the strategy of the Qin clan is simple. We will defend. Perhaps you will feel that with the tens and thousands of years of inheritance, why will we use a defensive strategy against the Xian clan? Perhaps many of you will have the illusion that with the long inheritance of the Qin clan, could it be that we do not have a few mysterious seniors? A light smile spilled from the corner of Qin Xiaoyan's mouth as he nodded. Now I can tell you with certainty that regardless of the Qin clan, the Yun clan, or the Xian clan, it's impossible that the so-called mysterious elite warriors have not appeared. The number of Supreme Tao elite warriors they have is all written down on the books. Qin Wushuang did not have such illusion. If each sect truly had mysterious hidden elite warriors, they would not be clueless. The Heavenly Emperor Eight Gates had restrained each other for many years and knew each other's background. Qin Yunran and Qin Chongyang laughed. Only, there was more or less bitterness in this smile. The Heavenly Emperor Gate has 4 Supreme Tao elite warriors. The Heavenly Punishing Villa has 2, and the Sound of Thunder sect has 2. However, after Wushuang shot one of them, only one is left. Luo Tong Tian of the Heavenly Luo Daoist sect would not miss such a matter. For the other neutral sects, besides the Yin clan, it's possible for the other 3 sects to change sides at any moment. Therefore, we're facing at least 8 Supreme Tao elite warriors, and at most 14 or 15. Qin Shaodian was not exaggerating to scare people. For the Heavenly Emperor Gate, the Heavenly Punishing Villa, and the Sound of Thunder sect, besides the dead Lei Ming, there were 7. Plus Luotong Tian, it would be 8. The Thousand Feather sect, 100 Lane clan, and Mysterious Reform Gate each had 2 Supreme Dao elite warriors. In total, there would be 14. For the Qin clan, there are only 3. The difference in strength was extremely great. Everyone, the situation is difficult. I'm sure all of you are very clear about it. For the Qin clan, besides the 3 chiefs, there are no other Supreme Dao elite warriors. In terms of strength, it's 3 against 8. It's 3 against 14. Of course, this difference is extremely great. Therefore, if we do not adopt a defensive stance, the Qin clan will only have one possibility: death. Up to this point, Qin Shaodian did not evade the taboo. He must let everyone remember the situation of the Qin clan. Being greedy and rash, or being impulsive, the life and death of an individual is a small matter, but the survival of the sect is a big matter. Everyone, you don't want to carry the shameful identity of a dead person when you see the ancestors of the Qin clan after your death, right? Everyone's expression was incomparably solemn, and the scene made it difficult for them to breathe. Of course, if we look at the accounts, the Qin clan has no chance of winning. However, nothing is absolute in this world. Since the Qin clan was able to stand at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain for tens and thousands of years, of course we have our trump cards. What is the trump card of the Qin family? Qin Shaodian still revealed a confident smile. The trump card of the Qin clan is the foundation of this aspiring throne mountain. Since the immemorial era, the aspiring throne mountain has been the territory of the Qin clan. Generations of ancestors spent countless efforts to run the foundation of the aspiring throne mountain Qin clan. This is the foundation that allowed the Qin clan to stand at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain for a long time. Qin Shaodian smiled leisurely. Everyone, the situation of this battle will be extremely difficult. The Qin clan must also give up a large number of strongholds and concentrate on protecting the core stronghold with the upright morality hall as the center. Everyone, look at the map. These 3 strongholds are the places we need to defend to the death. We'll give up all the other territories. Give up all of them? Everyone followed the direction pointed by the head chief's finger. The area included in the defense zone was only a few hundred miles outside the upright morality hall. All the other strongholds, including the ascending dragon slope, were given up. Don't doubt it. We need to defend this area. For the other places, it would not matter even if we let them occupy them. The main area they will attack will be this area I've marked out. Qin Shaodian said coldly. Everyone, perhaps you will feel sullen inwardly, feel that it's unfair, feel that it's okay, and even feel suspicious. However, when my Qin clan is pressuring the border with a great army, regardless of manpower or financial resources, only by defending this area will we have the opportunity to turn defeat into victory. If they have other ideas, the Qin clan will certainly be destroyed. Qin Shaodian fixed his gaze at everyone and gave a light sigh. If you have any questions, ask them now. When a great battle starts, what you need to do is to execute the orders. Honored warrior Ji Song was the first to speak. Head chief, this area does not have any depth of defense. If the enemy launches a full-force attack, in case they break through, they will face the upright morality hall directly. Wouldn't this be too risky? Even someone as straightforward as Ji Song felt it was risky, the others could imagine. Honored warrior Ji Bo also said, yes, to give the enemy the chance to face the upright morality hall directly. This battle is too risky. However, Qin Shongyang said, honored warriors, as you say, how should we set up the defense? Each inch of the aspiring throne mountain is the foundation of the Qin clan. How could we let those rascals trample on it? Ji Song gave a long sigh. Inwardly, Qin Wushuang smiled bitterly. Although this honored warrior Ji Song possessed powerful strength, his combat attainment was not worthy of compliments. He still did not break away from the courage of a martial artist. For 10,000 miles around the aspiring throne mountain, if they were to defend each inch of land, they would not have enough manpower. The thickness of the defense would be almost zero. With the manpower of the Qin clan, if they were to fight for every inch of land, there would only be one result. They would be nibbled away by the army step by step. In the end, they would not have any capital to defend to their death. Qin Xiaodian revealed a slight smile and shot a glance at Qin Wushuang. Wushuang, I see that you seem to have something to say. Qin Wushuang nodded. Chiefs, I think that for a battle at this level, it's completely unnecessary to fight for every inch of land. It's not even the accumulation of numbers between ordinary martial artists. In fact, the core of this battle is the battle of the supreme Dao elite warriors. Yes, keep talking. When Qin Wushuang received the permission of the three chiefs, he continued to speak. If we were to fight for every inch of land, the Qin clan would not have that many supreme Dao elite warriors to fight for it. To the Qin clan, each elite warrior is crucial. For this battle, the Qin clan cannot afford to exhaust their strength. For the Xian clan, there are piles of supreme Dao elite warriors. Beneath the supreme Dao stage, there are countless of them. They can afford to exhaust their strength. Even if they were to use the human sea tactic, it would be enough to exhaust the Qin clan to death. Therefore, the strategy of the head chief is extremely wise. We must shrink the battle area and gather our main power to form a fist. Only then, we would have the capital to form effective damage to the enemy. Most importantly, since the head chief chose this area, he must have his plans. He must have trump cards that everyone is unaware of and has yet to show them. When Qin Wushuang said this, he looked at the head chief with a smile. Head chief, I am all ears. Qin Xiaotian let out a roaring laugh. Great, Wushuang is indeed the exceptional existence among the young generation of the Qin clan. Qin Wushuang is the one who knows me best. Everyone, now I am in charge of the Qin clan. Being the head chief, the foundation of the Qin clan is maintained by me alone. The responsibility on my shoulders is greater than all of you. Do you think that if I had another choice, would I let them face the upright morality hall directly? Through Qin Wushuang's analysis, everyone also felt that with the manpower of the Qin clan, it was not enough to exhaust their strength. Strictly defending to the death was the way of the king. Everyone up until now, the Qin clan has been passed down for tens and thousands of years. It's impossible to say that we don't have any trump cards. The defensive area I have designated is the core area of the Qin clan. This area is the defensive core area of the Qin clan's mountain protection formation. This 8 desolation, 6 directions mountain protection formation has absorbed countless supreme Dao divine souls. Even for genuine supreme Dao elite warriors, it would be difficult to break through it easily. When Qin Xiaotian said this, he swept across the entire scene. Everyone, for this battle, we only have one goal, that is to exhaust our strength. You heard right, it's this word, exhaust our strength. The longer we exhaust our strength, the more successful we will be. What the Qin clan needs is time. Qin Xiaotian swept across Ji Huai and the others with a profound gaze, including honored warriors Ji Song, Ji Bo, and Ji Tong who had acquired the supreme Dao fruit. There was also Qin Wushuang and Qin Taichong, these 2 elite warriors who were most qualified to advance to the supreme Dao stage. Qin Chongyang encouraged, everyone, head chief, this is to fight for time, for everyone. The day you break into the supreme Dao stage is the day the Qin clan will see the bright moon. 16 years. Qin Xiaotian said lightly. After 16 years, it will be the Heavenly Emperor election. According to the rules, regardless of personal grudges, we must stop all battles on the day of the Heavenly Emperor election. The Heavenly Emperor 8 gates must stop fighting and carry out the Heavenly Emperor election. By that time, it will be a turning point for the Qin clan. It will also be the only chance for the Qin clan to defeat the Xian clan. once we seize the seat of the Heavenly Emperor in the Heavenly Emperor election. The situation at the Heavenly Emperor Mountain will be under the control of the Qin clan. Qin Xiaotian stood up with roaring laughter. 16 years, everyone, success or failure will depend on this one move. Whether we can survive these 16 years, whether you can advance to the Supreme Tao stage or not, it will determine the fate of the Qin clan. The four great honored warriors revealed a grave expression. A form of powerful sense of duty caused the blood in their entire body to burn fiercely. 16 years. All right, everyone, I will not activate that mountain protecting formation unless it is absolutely necessary. Let's take a normal defensive stance. If the situation deteriorates, I will activate the formation immediately. Xin Tianwen, humph. Let me see how long you can be proud. Suddenly, Qin Xiaoyan's expression sank as he gave a long whistle. Everyone, the enemy is already within 1,000 miles. Everyone be ready for battle. Those who are not at the Supreme Tao stage are not allowed to fight. Yes, everyone stood up and looked at each other with an incredibly determined gaze. All of them rushed out of the upright morality hall. For the Heavenly Emperor, 8 gates. Besides the Qin clan that was being attacked and the Yun clan that stayed out of the matter, the elite warriors of the other 6 sects had gathered to kill their way to the aspiring Throne Mountain. Each sect had at least 100 people teams. The Heavenly Emperor Xian clan had sent 500 people. Of course, this was only to strengthen their momentum. The true core combat power was the Supreme Tao elite warriors. With a gloomy gaze, Xin Tianwen soared high into the sky with his imposing manner. He completely ignored the flying defense of the Qin clan and urged the power of the Heavenly Emperor without any concealment. Like the thunder and the tide, his voice rolled out continuously. Qin Xiaotian, bring your disciples and grand disciples out to surrender. Perhaps you can avoid the disaster of your sect being destroyed. If you resist stubbornly, once we break through, no one will be left alive. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chidian.com. More chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 714. After Xian Tianwen made the neutral 3 sects yield and compromise, he was high-spirited. Plus, with the genuine divine 6 weapons at hand, he had a well-thought-out plan to break the Qin clan. Therefore, he appeared even more complacent. As soon as Xian Tianwen shouted, his voice was like rolling thunder. It caused the other Supreme Tao elite warriors of the Xian clan to feel a surge of emotion. Their vital energy and blood rolled over and over. All of them responded and let out a supreme Tao resonance. For a time, all around the aspiring Throne Mountain, a wave of supreme Tao resonance gushed over. This imposing manner seemed to cause the sky to fall and the earth to rend. For martial artists with lesser strength, they felt suffocated and almost vomited blood. Like a long rainbow, Qin Xiaotian shot out from the Qin clan's upright morality hall and leaped high into the sky. He gave a clear hiss from his mouth and spurted out bursts of supreme Tao presence to resist this wave of supreme Tao resonance. Although there was some disparity between these 2 bursts of power, with Qin Xiaotian's hiss, the advancing speed of the airwave had clearly slowed down. Suddenly, Qin Xiaotian gave a thunderous roar. Go! Tens and thousands of golden lights shot out from his entire body and pierced the place where the supreme Tao gathered. These tens and thousands of golden lights shot over like a rainstorm. Instantly, the camp below was in chaos. Although those Supreme Tao elite warriors were all elite warriors, under Qin Xiaotian's attack, no one dared to neglect as they all jumped to evade. For a time, the Supreme Tao scrambled and lights danced. Qin Xiaotian roared with laughter. Such a mob. When Xian Tianwen saw that Qin Xiaotian had come to show his power as soon as he appeared, he rushed over furiously. With a giant sword full of kingly presence in his hand, he shouted, Qin Xiaotian, would you dare to fight with me? Qin Xiaotian said with a cold sneer. Do you think I'm scared of you? However, let me warm up by killing 2 shrimp soldiers and crab generals. After he finished speaking, with the long spear in hand, Qin Xiaotian shot down like lightning. Countless afterimages flashed across the sky, and his murderous intentions increased tremendously. Stay! Xian Tianwen gave a loud roar and slashed with the giant sword from the sky. When this sword slashed down, along with the overflowing flowing lights, it seemed as if the sky had been slashed into 2 halves. Miserable cracks filled the horizon. It seemed to be as vast as the horizontal natural moat. Inwardly, Qin Xiaotian felt apprehensive. Slaughtering sword? Xian Tianwen roared with laughter. That's right, Qin Xiaotian. Would you dare to take my sword? Qin Xiaotian's expression changed slightly. However, his aura was not weak. He sneered. So what if it's the slaughtering sword? If you have the ability, use the true divine 6 weapons on your own, and I will admit defeat on the spot. A mere true supreme Dao weapon. Qin, don't take it seriously. After saying that, his feet shook, and 2 fiery wheels appeared under his feet. This wheel shone with an astonishing amount of fire. At a glance, one could tell that the green flame was an extremely terrifying flame. Qin Xiaotian gave a low shout and urged the 2 wheels. His speed had doubled again as he slid at high speed. As he guided the long spear from his hand, the flame under his feet seemed to have been hooked by the power of the spear. Immediately, it rolled out a living fire dragon and shot towards that Xian Tianwei with matchless, imposing manner. Fire dragon roars to the sky. Qin Xiaotian roared and pointed his spear again. Streams of fire rained down like a rain of fire. Immediately, thousands upon thousands of fireballs pressed down endlessly. Xian Tianwen was astonished. Everyone, get out of the way. At the same time, yellow lights erupted from Xian Tianwen's entire body. Suddenly, a burst of golden light enveloped Xian Tianwen's entire body. Behind his back, a pair of giant wings expanded against the wind. Heavenly Emperor wings. Heavenly Emperor wings? When Qin Chongyang, who was watching the battle from inside, saw this scene, his heart sank. He drew a breath of cold air and mumbled to himself. His eyes were filled with a strange light. This was the first time Qin Wushuang saw a pair of wings grow from someone other than himself. Dumbstruck, he mumbled, Heavenly Emperor wings, what's going on? Qin Yunran gave a long sigh. This Heavenly Emperor wings is a divine skill given to Xian Tianwen by the Totem clan when the Xian clan was crowned as the master of the Heavenly Emperor Mountain. It's also a special reward for the Heavenly Emperor position. Ever since Xian Tianwen acquired the Heavenly Emperor wings, he never used it. Today, when facing the head chief, he used it right from the start. It seems that this Xian Tianwen is preparing to fight a decisive battle with the head chief. Qin Wushuang felt apprehensive as he looked at the sky. 2 genuine supreme Dao elite warriors were engaged in a fierce battle. With their eyesight, they were incapable of judging the direction of this battle. That was because the speed was simply too fast. It was simply beyond their comprehension. Xian Tianwen also broke through the 9th Transformation Supreme Dao stage and entered the Genuine Supreme Dao stage. This time, the head chief has truly met his match. There were some traces of regret in Qin Chongyang's tone. If Xian Tianwen had not entered the Genuine Supreme Dao stage, with the power of the head chief, he could completely destroy him. However, Xian Tianwen's power was on par with the head chief. With him restraining the head chief, it would be difficult for the Qin clan to make a move. Initially, those honored warriors who advocated to fight for every inch of land felt incredibly ashamed when they saw this battle situation. Only then did he realize how ignorant he was. For a battle at this level, the courage of an ignorant person would be useless. Most likely, Xian Tianwen, the Heavenly Emperor, could kill all 12 of them with one sword move. It would be impossible to talk about fighting for every inch of land. No wonder Qin Xiaotian was the head chief of the Qin clan. When he fought with Xian Tianwen, he did not fall into a disadvantageous position. As the two exchanged moves in the sky, they wished to kill the other party. Then, regardless of how they used all their power, they were still on par with each other. Inwardly, Tianwen was also furious. Initially, he was confident that he had absolute power advantage at the Heavenly Emperor 8 gates. Now it seemed that it was not the case. This Qin Shaodian would not lose to him at all. Inwardly, Qin Shaodian was also feeling apprehensive. He was surprised that indeed, Tianwen lived up to his reputation. If he had not achieved a breakthrough after 200 years of solitary training, most likely he would have lost to this guy. Even in this case, Qin Shaodian could not see any chance of winning. Although the other party's slaughtering sword was powerful, it made him feel tremendous pressure. The most terrifying part was the Heavenly Emperor wings. Its mobility and agility did not lose to his fire cloud wheel. In terms of body movements, the two were on par with each other. This made Qin Shaotian unable to choose to move around and free himself to launch sneak attacks on those Supreme Dao elite warriors below. While Tianwen fought, he roared, "Tianshun, stop the attack! Destroy the aspiring throne mountain!" Tianshun waved the command flag and roared, "Everyone, the chance to destroy the Qin clan is here. Transformation Supreme Dao elite warriors, the first echelon. Coagulate Supreme Dao elite warriors, the second echelon. The rest of you, the third echelon, charge." While they spoke, Lei Yu and Yin Beifei, these two elite warriors of the Transformation Supreme Dao stage, took the lead and transformed into two meteoric lights to dash towards the direction of the aspiring Throne Mountain Upright Morality Hall. Each sect had one elite warrior of the Transformation Supreme Dao stage. At the Heavenly Emperor Gate, the second most powerful one was not Tianshun, but that female martial artist, Tianwu. Her talents surpassed Tianshun, and she was also an elite warrior of the Transformation Supreme Dao stage. Tianwu also shot through the sky to suppress the Qin headquarters. For a time, a dozen Supreme Dao lights oppressed the Qin headquarters one after another. Boom! Lei Yu and Yin Beifei, who were at the front, suddenly collided with a burst of golden light. Their entire body flew backwards rapidly. When they looked forward, an invisible wall of air appeared indistinctly. Like water ripples, it sparkled with golden lights. Soft and thick, it gave people an incredibly solemn feeling. Defenses. That's a defense mechanism. Lei Yu roared, and his eyes were already red. He roared, "Everyone, let's work together and bombard the defense mechanism. Surely we can break it." "All right, everyone, let's work together." Yin Beifei also agreed. At the same time, he said, "Everyone must be careful and watch out for sneak attacks. The Qin clan is despicable. They love to sneak attack people." When Qin Yunran saw this Yin Beifei slandering the Qin clan, he swore angrily. The grand chief of this heavenly punishing villa is this shameless, inverting black and white. However, being at the 8th calamity of the Coagulate Supreme Dao stage, Qin Yunran still possessed a slight difference compared to Yin Beifei and Lei Yu, who were at the Transformation Supreme Dao stage. Although he was furious inwardly, he would not dare to step out and go against the orders of the head chief. He could only gnash his teeth with hatred and clench his fists until cracking sounds could be heard. With a profound gaze, Qin Wushuang could not refrain from asking, when he saw the Supreme Dao elite warriors kept gathering before the defenses, two chiefs. The head chief did not activate the mountain protecting formation. Can this ordinary defense withstand this full power attack? Qin Chongyang said with a smile. Wushuang, from there to the Upright Morality Hall, there are 6 or 7 defenses. Each one keeps getting stronger. They can break one, but most likely they cannot break the second one. Qin Wushuang shook his head. It's impossible to let them break the defenses this easily. I will go meet them. Qin Yunran dashed forward. Qin Chongyang immediately pulled Qin Yunran. Second, you must not act rashly. A dozen Supreme Dao elite warriors, Their charging power is enough to swallow you and me. Unless it's the head chief, you, and I must not be impulsive. Qin Yunran's face was thoroughly red. At this moment, the change in the battle situation could easily cause a change in one's temperament. Qin Yunran was also in a moment of desperation. After thinking carefully, he knew Qin Chongyang's words were reasonable. Suddenly, Qin Wushuang said, "Two chiefs, how about I go? You?" Qin Yunran and Qin Chongyang exchanged a glance and shook their heads at the same time. "No, Wushuang, you are not at the Supreme Dao stage. Under such powerful Supreme Dao presence, I am afraid you will get swallowed instantly." Qin Wushuang said with a smile, "I will not approach them. I will launch a sneak attack with a graceful spiritual bow from afar. If I can kill one, it's one. If I cannot kill them, I can also leave with ease." No, Wushuang, you cannot go." Qin Chongyang was experienced and prudent. He knew too well the significance of Qin Wushuang to the Qin clan. Naturally, he would not let him take the risk. At this moment, a burst of strong light suddenly expanded greatly. Instantly, as if the heaven and earth had collapsed, a burst of powerful air exploded with a loud rumble. A dozen supreme Dao lights collided with each other instantly and formed a gigantic explosive power. The first defense was opened with a loud rumble. As soon as this defense was opened, instantly spiritual qi shot in all directions. Accompanied by the explosive power of the supreme Dao, it produced a tremendous vibration that almost caused the entire aspiring throne mountain to tremble. The side of the upright morality hall was also trembling. A trace of strong uneasiness flashed across everyone's eyes. A defense was broken this easily? To be continued. If you want to know the future, please log on to www.chijian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.